on the WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett First Arcade, 605 NWA. TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team. Turner, Barton, Mid-South Joy World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North, they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off, center stage, Bischoff. Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and the Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette Champ, Vinnie Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules can't pass. This wasn't the initial plan. Tom Zigg's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a trip. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when? WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody had a great Christmas holiday as we get ready to end another year, putting 2021 behind us.
Where does this rank all time for you in your favorite years in wrestling? Obviously, we know 1986 was near the top of the list. You had an absolute blast, I'm sure, in 84, since you really got started in like 83. And I'm sure 89 was kind of exciting with the big move. And WCW had to be pretty exciting in like 97 and 98. But you got back into the old wrestling biz in 2019. That had to be a great year. And then 2020 was kind of weird with COVID being what it was. But this year it felt like things were getting a little more back to normal. And is this top 10, top 5, top 3? What was 2021 for you, Tone?
It's top 10 for sure, because maybe top 5 because we went back to the arenas.
Yeah.
After being out for quite a while and enjoyed all of that. We got to see CM Punk. I got to be a part of that coming back. And so I think it's certainly top 5 2021. 2020 was pretty cool because I thought that we did a hell of a job of continuing to put on a show despite COVID.
Yeah.
So that has a lot to do with it. But 2019 is really a very, very special year. I really think 2019 first, 1989 second, and
83's in there somewhere. I mean, 85,
yeah,
86.
Sure, 83's in there too. 86, like we just been talking about. All the years of working for the Crockett's are big. 83 is very big because I went from being a big fan to working in the business. So that's very special as well. But this year, 2021 was great because we got to go back to the arenas and the fans were, I never will forget the first time we had a full house, and that was Daly's Place. Mm. And I believe it was Double or Nothing. I'm not sure. And just the fans, when the referees walked out, they went crazy.
Yeah.
So you knew that something was very special. It was very special with CM Punk because we sold out a major arena based on a rumor.
Really, when you think about it, that's what it was. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool. So a lot of great things have happened. I'm really thankful about being back in the business and I've during the Christmas holiday, I've been able to kind of connect with some of my friends who worked in the WWE or still work in the WWE, and they all say the same thing. Congratulations on landing on your feet, as the old cliche goes, and being back in the business and being a part of a major promotion. It's a wonderful time in my life. And as I look towards the end of my life here, I think, as people say, "You're doing okay, aren't you?" I say, "Yeah, I'm going to ride this horse till it breaks." And I don't necessarily mean AEW. I mean this horse.
Yeah, this body that you're carrying around.
Body, right, that I'm carrying around. So I want to stay with it as long as I can. It's been great, man. It's been great. And, of course, we can't deny that this year we we've had another great year doing this podcast.
Yes, sir.
And it's been wonderful. It has been the catalyst of me returning to wrestling, no doubt. And of course, we had a comic book come out in 2021 as well. So,
and I think you had some new grandkids come around. I mean, you had you're checking a lot of boxes. I mean, I
had a new granddaughter born 10 months ago. So, a lot of great stuff. And it's to the point to where I wish I could enjoy it more, but that's just that's a personality flaw that I have.
Well, here's the other thing too, and this is something that a lot of us have to figure out and go through on our own time, but there's so much going on. Things are happening so fast, so quickly that, it's times like these, you're reminded, boy, there's a big old windshield and a little bitty rearview mirror, and you're on the road every week, multiple days per week. I got to be here. I got to do that. I got to promote this. I got to sell that. It's hard to take a break long enough to just catch your breath, much left really reflect on what all you've done. And,
yeah, I agree.
I don't think that's necessarily a character flaw of yours or a personality defect. I just think it's a function of being successful and busy and goal oriented. And we hope that your goal has been to sit with us every week and enjoy our silly podcast, because Tony and I really have had a great time doing it for you. I really can't believe that we're getting paid to do this, Tony, because this is so much fun. Like, it doesn't feel like work at all. I mean, we're getting the bullshit with our buddy, and how do you beat that?
No, you can't. Most people I talk to are basically anyone who comes up, especially at the Comic Cons, or if I go to the arenas and I get to talk to fans or sign autographs, get to meet the fans, and even obviously our friends who are on WHW Monday's Patreon channel and ad-free shows. They all say the same thing. You and Conrad sound like you're having a blast doing the show. And we are.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it comes across that way. We do have a blast doing the show. We have a blast being silly, being stupid. We have a blast shitting on me.
Yep.
Shitting on the old stuff that we saw back then. Because sometimes you just got to look at it and go, what the fuck? And that's what we do. So we have a great time doing this. And I can't believe as we move into the next month, about halfway through the next month, we're going to be starting season 6 of this. Is that right? Yes.
Time flies 6. When you're having fun, man. We, as we're getting ready for our next season, I guess we should mention, I know we've done it before, but now's as good a time of any. We want to remind everybody that we're going to be doing a bit of a shift in the way we've been doing our shows. We're going to start kicking it old school. And I don't mean just continuing down the track of Jim Crockett Promotions to include 1987. But I mean, the way we used to do it, we're going to bounce around, have a little ADD, as I like to call it, cover a big variety of topics. But yes, we are still going to keep on track for 1987. We're going to cover all the major events here on the main feed. And Tony, I think we might even continue a lot of our 87 talk over at the WHW Monday Patreon, right?
Yeah, we will. We'll get that involved if you are a subscriber to Patreon. And let me say, we have had a Patreon channel for a number of years. We have developed many fans, many friends, really.
Yeah.
That have become friends of ours. And of course, ad-free shows came along and we grew bigger. Got a good staff of people, with the exception of maybe a couple. Good staff of people that help us.
Nobody bats 1,000, Tony.
No, you're right. You're exactly right. But yeah, we are going to continue. And it's been, I think I've often felt good about, as we go back and we look, I felt good about 85, and we really haven't touched that much on 85. And 85 was very special to me.
Big time.
It was the first year on TBS. 86 was our biggest year. 87, things started to go downhill, and that's because of the purchase, I think, of the UWF.
Well, reckless spending. you know, not,
Thank you. Right.
That was it. You're not managing the pennies, as my mom would say.
Yeah. So things started to go downhill. Then 88, of course, it just went right off the rails. So I kind of feel as we move in 87 that things started to go, but in 86 we were still riding high. So, but yeah, there's a lot of great things happened in 87. A lot of things we want to talk about. We had our first War Games in 87. JR and I worked together doing those War Games in July 4th of 1987. And of course, another year of the Great American Bash. Another year of the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup Tag Team Tournament.
Come on with it.
Yep. And so a lot of great things went down. Ronnie Garvin wins the world title.
Yeah. Well, some less than awesome things went down too.
Yeah. It was, Ronnie Garvin as world champ to me was, okay, I get it. That business really went down. It was the wrong move. But there was something on a personal level or just it was just something cool about seeing Ronnie Garvin win the world title.
No doubt about it. And don't get me wrong, he and Flair just beat the shit out of each other. It was really fun to watch. We've watched it before. I'm sure we'll watch it again. And what a nice guy he is. We like to give everybody a little bit of shit here on the show. Hopefully by now you figured that out. Well, I'm looking forward to today's episode. We've promised everybody that we're not just going to do one. We're going to do two. That's right. 2 episodes. So if you haven't already, get your cock out. And go ahead and cruise over to December 20th, 1986. Do you have the season and episode handy there, Tony?
Yeah, it's season 2, episode 50.
And without further ado, Tony, I think it's time we watch a little wrestling. Are you ready?
I'm ready to watch wrestling.
Okay. Without further ado, I think you've got a very special countdown for us.
Here we go.
It's all about you!
Let me tell you something, you little skinny motherfucker. I will beat your ass, plus I will beat your ass in video games. I know that you're freaking lying. How's it gonna feel to go back to Connecticut and tell the fuckers that an old 63-year-old man beat your ass?
What you waiting for? I know you know the score. 3, 2, 1,
Championship Wrestling, bringing you great wrestling action, sanctioned by the NWA, National Wrestling Alliance.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to World Championship Wrestling. I'm Tony Schiavone, your host for 2 hours of the NWA, the Major League of Professional Wrestling. We are into the month of December, of course, and Christmas coming up this week, and everybody very excited because the holiday season is upon us. That is Jim Cornette. This is Big Bubba. A lot of the Bunkhouse Stampede still going on. Big Bubba has won a Bunkhouse Stampede or two, and are you decked out for the holidays?
Tony, I know that I look probably better than anybody on the face of the planet right now, but please try to control your admiration for me just for this one show, okay?
I'll do my best.
Like you were talking about, Big Bubba has won a couple of Bunkhouse Stampedes already. He's going to win some more because he's the baddest man in the world. And the Midnight Express, they're in there too, but what's more, we're looking for our chance to get our World Tag Team titles back. To do that, we got to take it step by step. United States Tag Team title, Barry Windham and Ronnie Garvin, the man with the hands of stone. Well, Windham, what you are is a punk with a funny-looking haircut. And Ronnie Garvin, you're so scared of my man Big Bubba here that you go running the other way and drop that belt every time you see us coming. So in other words, Windham, Garvin, no more United States Tag Team title. When we get you in the ring and corner you, these men are going to be the champions and soon to be again the World Tag Team champions. Loverboy Dennis and Beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express.
So we're going to get started with the tag match here. David Isley and Zane Smith will be the opponents. Jim Cornette looking extra dapper today. Had those gold lapels, had that gold tie to match. You reckon he bought that off the rack, or is that a custom job?
That's a custom job, I'm sure. And not only that, it seemed like his voice was a little bit raspy. Of course, you can get a cold this time of year, as you know. But that was designed for him for sure. That's not a rack job.
Did you know rack job? You better stop. Hey, did you hear or did you see that the Weeder sponsorship was going?
Yeah, it must have been just
it's a quick little experiment.
Yeah, I think so.
Then they realized, hey, these wrestling fans, they're not going to go buy a bunch of supplements.
No. And I'm sure that was a split. Bobby doing a drop kick. I'm sure that was a sponsorship for that TBS sold.
Oh, of course.
I doubt if Jim Crockett sold that.
Well, here's what may have been possible. It may have been a deal where they were hitting up some of the guys. And then they worked out some sort of deal, and
could have been.
Who knows? Yeah. Man, look at the aggression here from Dennis Condrey.
Yeah. With the Weeder sponsorship, let me ask you a question. If you know this, and you've of course been in sales your entire life, seemingly.
Yeah.
I guess you have in your entire professional life.
Yes.
When all of a sudden, was it just over time, or did it all of a sudden start that marketing and I don't know, sales, it just seemed like everything's sponsored now, right?
Everything was sponsored way back when. You go look at the early days of like radio and TV, like in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. And, you had just conglomerates sponsor a whole program. It was their show. In fact, you know what? You're kind of old school. I'm sure you watched, everybody else did, a little I Love Lucy back in the day.
Yeah.
Let me give you a movie that I want to recommend for you and Lois to check out if you haven't already. It's called Being the Ricardos.
I've heard about it.
And it's on Amazon. It's fantastic. But you'll see on there that, she used to have a radio program sponsored by Jell-O. And, her hugely successful television program was brought to you by Philip Morris. So there's a long-standing history of that. But yeah, I hear you. It does feel like everything's sponsored these days, but I think it even felt like it was sponsored more back then. When you were a kid, a lot of the folks listening to this program, by the way, are about my age, based on all the research and all the data that we can find. It seems like it's primarily 41-year-old dudes. Like that's the overwhelming majority. Anyway, I'm saying all that to say, did you ever pretend to wrestle with your brothers in the living room?
No.
Well, a lot of us did. Mm-hmm. And if we didn't have brothers, we had friends about our age.
Right.
And so I assume were your kids giving suplexes to, couch cushions and jumping off the armrests and shit like that when they were kids?
Oh, my kids, we had to take little, Tim to the emergency room one time because Chris gave him a suplex in the floor.
Like on the floor?
Yep.
And what happened to little Tim?
Tim survived, obviously, and just had a cut on the head. And this is when we lived in Connecticut, and wrestling was banned from our house.
Was it, where is Big Tim?
Big Tim is living with Chris, the guy that suplexed him.
No, I'm with you on that, but I'm saying you referred to him as Little Chris. So I assume there's an uncle running around named Tim or something.
Yes.
Okay. Well, right. I was trying to figure out why he, as a kid, was Little Chris instead of just Chris.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I wanted to ask too, did you ever consider, since it was already branded and getting rid of
the kids all the time?
No, that's hurtful. I meant calling him Tiny Tim. I think Tiny Tim really had a nice ring to it. And I think you should consider it for your next round of kids with Rebel.
You went all the way around there just to get to that.
Well,
that's pretty good. Hey, so let me ask, ignoring this question of yours and this line of thinking of yours, you notice how there's still blood on the mat?
Oh yeah. Now they never changed it, as you know.
Yeah. They never changed it from a week ago. What the fuck?
Oh, that was not necessarily new, buddy. You could go and those old rings, especially territory rings. You could look at old Continental rings and man, they just let that blood just cake up. They'd have to chip it off when it was done. They never chipped it off though.
Well, this is the blood, I think, from a week ago when Manny Fernandez, the Raging Bull, remember, busted that guy's nose.
What I'm saying is, I think this is from a lot more than a week ago.
Okay.
And that's going to get it done. Thankfully, the nightmare is over. They gave him a lot of time, really.
Yeah. And that was a very, very interesting pin that time.
I liked it. Let's take a listen.
Yeah.
I think,
And with the Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff, and I know not only the bunkhouse stampedes are going on, but you would like, I'm sure, to get back at your nephew, Nikita Koloff.
This is right. You know, I watched Nikita wrestle Ric Flair in the last couple months on a couple different occasions, and he comes this close to winning world title away from Ric Flair. And I see all the American people, every time Nikita or his friend, American friend, Dusty Rhodes, knock one of the horsemen down, everybody come to their feet. They are happy. They are cheering him on. But now that you have become an American, like the rest of them, Nikita, you know what you are in for. You remember Nikita back to training days. Vladimir Pietrov. You remember the name, Nikita. I'm sure you do. You better remember the name, Nikita. I told you before that you are going to be punished. And punished in all country way. Yes, Russian justice is going to come to you, Nikita. Ex-nephew. You're not part of the Koloff family anymore. For turning your back on myself and your country. I always thought that was most important thing in life, your family, and what ties you have to your country, how your country is proud of you. But look at what he has done now, and he is proud of himself, and now the American people are proud of him. I can't understand this, but I know how I feel, and what I'm going to do about it. I know how the Kremlin feels, and what must be done about it. And Nikita, you are going to find out. It's going to come down on you. You're not going to expect it. I know now your mind is all taken up by going after Ric Flair, the world title. That is what has swayed your mind in first place. Your greed for this world title. You could not do it the way I was suggesting, the way I was training you. No, you have to go ahead and go Dusty Rhodes road. Because she could get you all these matches. Your chance to go after it, you know, in a matter of time, you're going to be able to take it away from. This is what you feel. Well, Nikita, you may become world champion, but I am going to destroy you. You remember the name. Vladimir Pietrov, Nikita.
Ivan Koloff, more right after this time out.
So how about that? We're going to see the debut of Vladimir. I guess the first episode of 87, but boy, he was not long for this world. I'm sure we'll talk about him a little bit.
The response from the fans for the Rock and Roll Express.
That's right, Tony. You know, Rick Rude, Manny Fernandez, and Paul Jones, they're still running around calling themselves the champions, which they are right now. Let me tell you something, guys, like we said before, don't forget about the Rock and Roll Express. We've been around a long, long time, guys. Look over your shoulder, anywhere you're going to look. This Rock and Roll will be here forever, Tony.
Ricky?
That's right, Tony. You know, I like to wish everybody out here a Merry Christmas, baby, because it's coming up. Just like he says, Manny Fernandez, Rick Rude, and Paul Jones, baby. You got something we want, something we like. You know, I like to say something else about all these signs being out here today.
Oh, yeah.
We'd like to tell you that we love you too, baby, and everybody else that stands behind the Rock and Roll Express. But don't you forget Paul Jones. Don't you forget every morning, every day you think about it. That rock and roll is here to stay. Manny Fernandez, Rick Rude, we're not going anywhere. R&R, there's only one in R&R around here, baby, and it's for the Rock and Roll Express. And don't you ever forget that, because the day is going to come. The day is going to come, you're going to meet the Rock and Roll Express. And those belts are coming back around here. And the funny thing about it is, Tony, there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it.
Yeah. The Rock and Roll Express back to the ring.
Boy, did you see the confidence in Ricky grow as the year went on? Like, he was like a deer in the headlights when we first started seeing him on the program. And now, you know, he's out there just freestyling and clearly not too worried about it and having a good time.
Knowing what he is and obviously making a lot of money does that as well. Grows in confidence. Ronnie Garvin started throwing that towel around. That became a part of him. And again, there you go. If had we known what we were doing, we would have monogrammed those towels and sold them.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of selling, tell me about Vladimir Petrov. Based on what I can see, it looks like he was trained by Mr. Eddie Sharkey, and he's going to actually wrestle his first match for y'all, and that will be his very first match. He's going to debut in a mask, and I guess the original plan, according to the legend, was that it was going to be John Nord, who we know would later be in the WWF as the Berserker. But in the end, it wound up being this fella. Any memories of Mr. Vladimir?
Well, I'm trying to.
His real life name was Al Blake, if that rings a bell.
Was he also the Angel?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think he's only here for a short time, and then he's going to be over in the UWF by June. And then ultimately in late 87, when they start to wind things down, he pops up in the WWF for just a hiccup in 91, and then he's out of here.
Yeah. I'm just looking him up right now. I remember him now.
Now that you saw his picture.
Yeah. But he was without a mask. Petrov was.
Well, it's written here that maybe the first match that he worked.
Okay,
maybe they weren't ready to show him off yet.
Okay.
We should ask somebody who knows for sure.
Yeah, he was big and strong, and I remember him now, but very, very green, obviously. I was thinking that didn't they had a Russian with a mask on? It wasn't that, who was the guy that was the angel, the fallen angel or the dark angel? What was his name?
Oh yeah. Dark Angel. I mean, it rings a bell. Let me look him up for you.
Yeah. Look him up too. Anyway, meanwhile, as you look him up, here's what I was thinking. I saw when Ricky Morton was doing his promo just now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, he's got Mickey Mouse on.
Yeah.
On his shirt.
Couldn't do that anymore.
Why in the hell doesn't he have a Rock and Roll Express shirt on? And why in the hell don't we sell it? And then I'm thinking, what did we do wrong back then? But then
you were talking about the Angel of Death, by the way.
Angel of Death. There you go. But then I'm thinking, we still have that problem today. How many wrestlers do you see, especially with us, that are wearing T-shirts that don't represent what they're selling? It still happens today. It still is an issue today.
I liked when they had Bryan Danielson debut, he just wore a plain white T-shirt.
Right.
I thought that was cool.
Right. Because I think if he'd have come out of the gate with an American Dragon shirt on, that would have been like, come on. Let it percolate a little bit before you sell it.
Just so you know, Punk wore his shirt on his first.
Well, duh. He knows what he's doing. But anyway, that's kind of listen, there is, and I know this firsthand from being backstage, there is still with many guys, an independent wrestling mentality that it's difficult for them to get out of for all these years. So just do whatever, show up.
By the way, the Angel of Death's real name was David Shelton.
David Shelton. Absolutely. And he wrestled under a mask for us.
Hey, I want to mention, this episode we're watching was actually filmed on the 14th. So the day after, the 13th, where we saw the last taping. So your theory of, hey, I think that's the same Matt, probably pretty good.
Yeah.
On the 14th, they would also hit up Maysville, Kansas for Central States. You would debut at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago for 12,500 fans. And then you're off on the 15th to Greenville, South Carolina to do a TV taping for shows that will air just after Christmas. You did $4 appreciation night at a matinee show on Christmas Day in Greenville, South Carolina. You did another matinee at the Charlotte Coliseum in front of 10,200 fans, including a bit of a TV taping for Worldwide. And then that night we're in the Omni in front of 18,000 fans. Christmas night tickets were just $5. And you guys just had a Christmas night AEW show. And I don't know who had more fun, you at that show or Ronnie Garvin with the hands of stone there getting a sit on a dude's head for the pin.
He knocked his ass out with that punch. And as we found out from Ronnie, he'd love to bully people around. Bully maybe not be. Oh, here we go. Here are the champs.
Here they are, the U.S. Tag Team Champions.
You know, it was a great thrill for me and Barry winning these titles, you know, because we was a brand new combination, never wrestled as partners, and it turned out great. And I think it's going to get better and better. So can you imagine, you know, I figured that we're a big threat, and they know this, the Four Horsemen, anybody out there, any wrestler that holds a title, single or tag team title, and you know who you are, and the people know who you guys are, so you consider Ronnie Garvin and Barry Windham in single or tag as a big threat, because we're coming, we want it all, plain and simple.
You know, Tony, we've been going over the list of contenders now. You've got the Midnight Express, you've got the Andersons, and then you have the World Tag Team Champions right here. You know, they won their championship not too long ago right here on television. And I'll tell you what, if it came right down to it, we would defend these championships against any one of those combinations at any time, right here if it had to be for these United States Championships.
Okay, Barry Windham, Ron Garvin, U.S. Tag Team Champions. Let's go back to the ring.
So Brad Armstrong going to be taking on Brody Chase. Brody Chase is having trouble getting his shirt off, so I don't know that he's going to have a good time trying to put Brad's shoulders to the mat.
Yeah. Brad, the way he circled around the ring and the way he got ready and the way he hooked up, man, he was natural. One of those. Yeah, he was one of those kids that you thought, man, this is a real wrestling match. This is legit what we're doing here. So. Yeah, we've bragged about him all the time.
Fluid. You know, he looks fluid. That's the
fluid. Yes, good word. You know, in the world of wrestling, promos, when I talk to some of the young people today about doing a promo, and some of the veterans, I don't have to do this, but some of the younger ones, I always say this: you know what you're going to say. You should, at least, and I can't tell you how to say that. But I can tell you two things. Number one, look into the camera, because you're looking at the people. You're looking at the millions of people watching, not the people in the arena. Look at the camera. Don't look at me. Even though the WWF started that, not looking at the camera, but look at the camera. And number two, and this is most important, know how you're going to finish it. Because if you don't know how you're going to finish it, you'll just keep on rambling. And it'll sound, and you'll walk away from that interview and the fans will say, oh, that sucked. And that's because he was fucking lost at the end of it. I think one of the things I had the ability to do back then, and I think that was what you just saw right there with Barry Windham, was Barry kind of didn't know where to end it.
Yeah.
But I knew where to end it. So he was talking and he did that pause and I thought, okay, that's enough. And I took it back and pitched to the ring. So that's, if you watch a young wrestler today come out and do a promo, as we call it, watch how they end it, because I always try to work with them, say, you know, come up with a cliche. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Right. Or shit like that. Come up with something, to end it. So, and you know, listen, which reminds me of this, and we do need to address it.
No,
we've got ourselves in AEW quite a little phenomenon going on here. And that is Hook. And he's had 2 matches. His t-shirt was number 1 selling t-shirt after his debut. He's a very, very handsome young man, very athletic. The women love him. His only downfall is that Taz is his dad.
That's a big one, though.
That is a big one.
I mean, I was never going to say his name on the show, because I know, even though this is airing in the future, I bet if we looked at our phones right now, we both have text messages.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Brother, you talking about Hook on your podcast? Put my son's name in your mouth on your little show? Say your little ads with Tony? We pushing them dick pills? You trying to get people to bundle shit? I'm going to bundle you on your head, brother. You keep me and my son out your mouth. It's probably saying that's kind of like that.
That's kind of changed a little bit now. He is so proud of his son, and rightfully should be, that
talk about Hook more. God damn it! What are you talking about, Brad Armstrong? Yeah. You're not talking about my son.
Yeah. Raphael Morphy, who's our buddy, and of course is such a valuable part of AEW.
JR's right hand man.
Yeah, JR's right hand man came up with a good line. And he said, we no longer can call him Taz. I said, we can't. He said, no, he's the father of Hook now.
Oh, there you go.
So that's why I say, hey, father of Hook. And he'll smile. He really will. So he's proud of his son. He should be. But I say that because, and doing promos, I certainly hope that we can work with Hook in doing promos. Because if he can do them, buddy, the sky's the limit for that kid, man. Really, really is. We know he's got a great presence in the ring.
Let me give you a spoiler. He's going to do fine. Did you ever see any of Taz's promos from ECW?
I may have seen one or two. Yeah, yes, I did see one. I saw that one where he was in the backstage area and was pissed off. I saw that.
If he has the towel, if I'm not saying he's gonna, but goddamn, if Hook does the towel over his head, tight shot on the camera.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and set my hook, Daddy. I'm in.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to put a towel over his head because he's way too handsome. Not to say that Taz was ugly, but
well, I mean, you kind of did say that. So I just bit my lip thinking, wow, you're getting dumped on your head.
Taz Hook's just a very, very handsome young man. So anyway,
who was better looking, Hook or Tom Zink?
Back in the day, it was Tom Zink.
Okay. Well, Rey Mysterio or Hook?
Well, Rey Mysterio, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna default to the old school guys.
Oh, I got you.
Because if I don't, then you'll start to make up some bullshit about me and Hook, like you did about me and Tom Zink. So there you go. Brad Armstrong wins, and we go back.
That. We have grown as a show. So Brad Armstrong gets the win, and now Rocky King and George South are going to try to tackle the Andersons. I don't think this is going to be. This will probably be a one-sided affair, if I had to guess, Tony.
I would think so. Although I think Rocky and George are going to get a little bit more than most guys would get.
Oh, I can't argue that.
And here's Ole.
What do you think about Ole and Rocky King here?
Oh man, I loved anything Ole did.
Great shape, dude.
Yeah, he was. He was great shape, good kid. Everybody liked him. He was.
But you didn't like him. You've acknowledged on the show. You thought he was a turd burglar.
No, that's wrong.
Oh.
You're a fucking lying. So the new shirt should not be "you a lie," and the new shirt should say Conrad, comma, you're a fucking liar, comma.
Oh,
again.
That's hurtful. First of all, that's not the new shirt. The new shirt is your wife's on Facebook. Mine's cooking breakfast. Which I had multiple people text me this week. It is the funniest line they've ever heard on a podcast. And I didn't even think it was that funny when I said it, but when you started laughing, I was like, okay, that was pretty good, I guess.
Yes, that was the line that was one of the lines of the year. And I guess if we get some of our staff members off their ass, they could kind of go through these podcasts and come up with lines of the year from our podcast, which would be good.
I got them stretched kind of thin, in fairness.
Yeah. Right. Which reminded me, do you mind if I shit on someone here?
I'm ready for it.
Okay. Our buddy Joe Feeney.
Oh yeah. You don't like Joe?
Yeah, no, I like Joe. I'm not going to shit on Joe.
Why not?
But I am going to shit on a podcast he works with.
Keep It 100.
Yeah.
How did I guess that? Why are you shitting on them? What'd they do to you?
No, I love Conan.
Oh, Conan's great.
Yeah. Disco Inferno is a piece of shit.
Oh, okay. Well, that's woof.
Okay.
What did he do? He's always been a nice guy to me.
Oh, really? Well, good. He's a turd.
Oh, okay.
Okay. He's with a capital T, and it rhymes with P and stands for prick.
Okay.
Okay.
What did he do to you personally? Did he do something with Small Tim?
Well, no, he has Adam DeMoy on his podcast all the time. And DeMoy, who's a longtime supporter of ours, but he's our own troll. He will get on here and say, oh, Disco Inferno's podcast is great. He is shitting on AEW. I said, you know what? I said, if he knew anything about the business, he'd still be in it, which he doesn't. So I don't know what he does now. Does he run a strip club or something like that in Vegas? So that's his niche in life. Stay in your lane, leave us alone, go straight to hell. Okay. So Ole Anderson.
Now, Tony, I'm glad you got that off your chest, but if somebody said that to you 6 years ago, That wouldn't have been very nice. If Tony knew anything about the goddamn wrestling business, he'd still be in it. His lane is slinging coffee.
Yeah, I would ignore it.
Well, then I'm just saying Disco probably will too. And now what you've just done is, you know how like you could look in the mirror and go Beetlejuice, 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 and he'll be there or something like that. Or Candyman, Candyman, Candyman. Well, you just said Disco, Disco, Disco. I mean, he's going to be on AEW within a couple of weeks now.
Oh.
And he's probably going to get the push of his career. He'll do top rope Stone Cold Stunners.
Yeah. You know what he can do? He can push his nose up my ass is what he can do.
Well, it doesn't sound like he's going to have to. You just willed it into existence. He's probably doing a 60-minute draw with Kenny Omega sometime around March.
He's not, don't have to worry about that. Okay. Don't have to worry about that. He was washed up on his first, he was washed up on his first day of wrestling. Look at Inside Credit here. And, oh boy.
Well, Eric Bischoff and I really thought a lot of Disco and thought that he was a good performer and probably could have did a lot of other things. He just did that character so well that, you know, he sort of got typecast as it, like you did as, you know, all those B movies you did in the early 2000s as the older pervy guy.
The older guy. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of older guys, seen any good Mickey Mantle stuff lately?
No, the card that you got me is wonderful.
I mean, now that Christmas is in the rear view, all your kids listen to this show. Tell them that your oldest kid, Conrad Thompson, Schiavone.
Yeah.
Actually, you would be Conrad Schiavone Thompson, like Central Standard Time. Anyway, I mean, I got you the best gift, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You sure did.
Glad to hear it.
So, do you know why you got me the best gift?
Why?
You're the only kid that got me a gift.
What?
Yep.
Well, I'll be goddamned.
We do Secret Santa.
Okay.
Because there's so many people at our house.
I get that.
And Chris Schiavone had me a Secret Santa. And so he said, Dad, your gift hasn't come in yet, but you're really going to like it.
Okay.
And I said, okay. So that was the only gift that I got.
You know what he got you? Butts and Seats. The new book you can buy now, but will never be delivered. Buttsandseats.com.
That's changed. Apparently it's off the boat, getting ready to,
I just love you yelling. It's off the boat.
It's off the boat. Again, I don't know the intricacies of why it was stuck on the boat.
Oh, buddy, I'm just busting balls.
No, I know that, but I just wanted to vent on this. Damn, the work ethic in the world has gone down. Fuck. What the fuck? I'm telling you, thank God I'm old. Thank God I'm old, because this country is getting ready to fall apart, and I won't.
Well, move to Canada, you fucking bitch. How's that?
Oh, I might.
We're tired of your shit anyway.
I might move to Italy, because I am an Italian.
You would last about a weekend over there
in Italy, with a little villa on top of a mountain.
Lois can't get up that goddamn mountain. You mean a little villa at the base of the mountain? I'm
not inviting her.
God! So you'll go to Italy with that bitch? You won't come to my New Year's Eve party?
No, I'm not inviting her. She's not coming. I'm not having her come to Italy.
But your excuse to not go to all this shit is always, Lois can't go.
Yeah.
Lois doesn't travel. And I'm thinking, she won't travel to North Georgia, but she'll go to Italy? North Georgia, bro. Not even the good part. Here we go.
For the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Ole and Arn Anderson.
As far as we're concerned, they're all great wins. There's only one win that we want, though, and we want it more than anything else. And that's a win of whoever's got those belts. Now, we're the rightful champions. I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that we should be wearing the national tag team belts. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that we ought to be wearing those U.S. tag team belts. Somewhere down the road, we're going to take those belts. And Crockett, you've been trying to hide everybody from us. You've been trying to keep the Andersons from getting those belts that are rightfully theirs. Rhodes, you've been hiding from me. The only reason I can't get a hold of you is because you're always gone. Now it's Stampede, and all the horsemen are in that ring. And where are you? You're hiding behind about 15 people out there, maybe 25 people out there. Well, someplace, somewhere, we're going to catch up with you. And when we do, it's the end of you, Rhodes, and then we're going for those belts.
Tony Schiavone, I'm going to tell a very short story. What I'm doing is recapping history. You see, 2 short years ago, I came in front of this very desk, in front of you, Tony Schiavone, a relative unknown. My quality was untested. Everybody said, who is Arn Anderson? They knew who Ole Anderson was. They knew who Gene Anderson was. They knew who Tully Blanchard was. They knew who Ric Flair was. They did not know me. I told you people, and I told you, Tony Schiavone, I was going to restore the name Anderson into its former prominence. Well, in 2 short years, I did. World Television Champion. Former National Tag Team Champions. All around, tough guy. That's me. And now I got guys like Nikita Koloff that claim they're a bad apple. You see, Nikita, yes, you are a bad apple. I've traveled that road with you. But you see, that belt that you wear so proudly, we like to skip over. We don't like to talk about it. Well, Nikita, I wake up every morning and I think, well, maybe I can stand not being champion. And then, as the day goes on, I can't stand it. It makes me sick to my stomach, Tony Schiavone. I've got to be a champion. If it's not tag team champions, then it's going to be that one. So Dusty Rhodes, Nikita Koloff, remember one thing. Being a horseman, I don't want to be champion. I don't need to be champion. I have to be champion.
Let's go back to the ring.
That might be the best promo at this point of Arn's career.
Wow. Sensational.
I mean, he believed every word, every syllable.
Yes, and he made you believe it too.
Yes. I feel bad for this guy Nikita's about to, I mean, that guy's going to need a new kidney when this is over.
Yeah. And again, going back to what I said, Arn knew how to end an interview.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And also didn't really know how to do a good blade job. Holy shit. Was that a road map on the forehead or what?
Well, he was learning.
Yeah, he was.
Here comes that Russian sickle. Let's listen.
Fans respond to that. And as
I love the way that old ring sounds, dude.
Yeah. There was something else too, as far as blade jobs are concerned. Arn doing blade jobs and even the marks on your forehead was kind of a sign of respect.
Yeah. Badge of honor.
Right. With the boys, within the boys.
Yeah.
And Nikita didn't have that. Nikita didn't do many of those.
Tony, I hear you out here talking about what a tremendous feat it was that the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, won 2 bunkhouse stampedes, and more incredibly, it won them on the same day, back-to-back at a sold-out Baltimore Arena and the Civic Center in Philadelphia. Well, that is a tremendous feat. It was a tremendous feat just to have 2 sellouts. But when you think bunkhouse stampede, it's really not all that incredible because arenas are being sold out from coast to coast. Jim Crockett Promotions, the bunkhouse stampede, the greatest stars in the NWA. And when you say that, the name that immediately comes to mind, of course, is the World Television Champion. You know, and it seems, Mr. Blanchard, American Dream survived 2 bunkhouse stampedes. I know personally from being there, he took quite a bit of punishment. If he's got his sights set on this, he's going to have to regroup.
Well, you know, JJ, as well as the people out there and you, Tony Schiavone, the world's television title is the second most prestigious belt in all the world. That's why Dusty Rhodes carried it out here week in and week out very proudly. That's why, of course, he wants it back. Why Barry Windham's here, he wants it. Brad Armstrong wants it. Nikita Koloff wants it. Anybody that's anybody in wrestling wants this because this means money. And this means prestige. And this means you can come out here on a superstation and talk about being one of the great ones. Just like the New York Giants. Not only the Chicago Bears, Tony Schiavone, as prejudicedly you like to announce. But you know, nobody's taking anything away from Dusty Rhodes. He is a great man. To win a bunkhouse stampede, you're a great man. He was a great champion, 3 times world's heavyweight champion. Nikita Koloff, United States heavyweight champion right now. Very questionable, might add. Great athlete, great man. We're not taking anything away from anybody. The National Wrestling Alliance has the greatest athletes in all the world. But the top of the heap is the 4 horsemen, and this is why.
Nikita Koloff better look out, too. Obviously, he's upset one Arn Anderson, and you don't do that.
Okay, we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Man, the Horsemen are on a roll today. A bunch of good promos.
Yeah, good stuff. Not only that, I'm the Tully Blanchard talking about me and the Chicago Bears. I don't get that, but.
Oh, here's Dusty. We're all going to get this.
Nikita Koloff, and I've even mentioned a name out here at the top of the program that I'm sure you are familiar with.
You know what I want to talk about today?
Okay, what?
I want to talk about the Four Horsemen.
Okay.
You see, American Dream and I are not going to be happy until we heard all the Four Horsemen. Not all at one time, just one at a time, you see. Only Arn Anderson is lucky for you. I was in the ring and could not hear what you said about Nikita. Tully Blanchard, you be careful what you say about Nikita Koloff. You see, if you want this USA title, I give you all the chance you want, anywhere, it no matter. And the Ric Flair, it's just about 1 week ago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, you came close to losing your world heavyweight title. In a lot of people's mind, you did lose the title. Nikita Koloff walked out champion, but somehow you find a way to get your belt back. Ric Flair, your time, how do you say? Your time is coming short. You're going to be all over as a world champion, American Dream.
You know what, Tony Schiavone, I'm real happy with the situation. You understand what I'm saying? Nikita Koloff and Dusty Rhodes made a pact, heard round the world. Shot, heard round the world. Now the Four Horsemen come out on this TV, and once again, with the new year approaching, start talking about Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff. Arn Anderson, when you come in here and say 2 years ago, you stood out here and you resurrected the name Anderson, you better go back and talk to Holy, baby, because long before you put on a pair of diapers, he was getting it done. And he's coming for me, and I'm coming for him. And before it's over, one of us won't be able to walk out of this studio. Now then, Ric Flair, the $1 Million Man. Brother, every day when I go to the bank, me and Bruce Springsteen run into each other. You understand what I'm saying? The same bank. And the past week, we got funky like a monkey. And you were a monkey. And Nikita made you look like a monkey. But one of these nights, one of these towns, one of these arenas, on some universe in space, Nikita Koloff is gonna bust your butt, baby. Now, dear, it was a great feat. 2 stampedes in one day. Jim Crockett, you are the man with the money, and you got the team, and you got Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and Nikita Koloff, and Mr. Crockett ran up to me the other night after it was over, and he was saying, Mister. I said, Jimmy, you don't have to call me Mister. The whole world calls me Dream.
Okay, let's go to the ring.
Buddy, Barry Windham here is going to be taking on Tony Zane in singles action, but I've enjoyed all the promos today, but how do you not love Dusty most of all? That dude just had it.
We always had a funny Dusty or a serious Dusty. That was a serious Dusty.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. He ended it with funky like a monkey and a little irreverent ending, but good stuff, man. Oh man, God, he was
the best.
Yeah, he was. When when I'm asked who were the best promos you've ever done, it's Dusty, in no order. It's Dusty, Cornette, Flair, or Roddy Piper.
Yeah,
those were the best. Nobody could do it like him. And
I know we're talking about a lot of different things today, and
yeah.
I know sometimes our strictly old school, we'll call them the lapsed fans out there, they really don't like when I ask AEW stuff, and I'm sorry about that, but it is part of Tony's life.
Yeah, it's going to come in here,
and I'm a fan, and so suck it up and bear it today.
Yeah,
we recently had. I don't know, in the last couple of years, we've had more and more David Crockett. We've had him at some live events. We've had him, watch some of our major shows together and things like that. But he was recently at the AEW show in Greensboro and got recognized and introduced to the crowd, not only in the house, but on TV. And I think afterwards they brought him in the ring and thanked him, and he got to speak to the audience. And I felt really proud for our friend David.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see if you had any other insight you could share with us about how all that went down.
Well, Tony Khan, who appreciates and honors the past and loves the past. Tony Khan is around your age, so when David Crockett and I were doing our thing, he was very young. You were very young, but Tony remembers everything. So he loves David, and he wanted David to. He told me, he said, we're starting to do control centers again. I think you know that, and I'm really into it because I get to write them and I get to work on them. I just really enjoy them. So he said, for the Greensboro Control Center, why don't we use David Crockett? So I said, yeah. So I got in touch with David. We brought him down to Atlanta, and we did the control centers. And you even sent me a text. The control center with David was wonderful.
Yes.
We just had a great time doing it, and it rekindled. We even had a picture of me and David, a black and white picture of me and David on the set with his arm around me. We were having fun. And I wanted to use that, and Tony looked at it and said, I don't think we can use that. So we didn't use it, which is kind of disappointing, but I get it in today's society with, the other company. So we didn't use it, but we brought David into the control center, and he told me, he said, we want David to come to Greensboro, and I haven't decided what I want him to do. So he came to Greensboro, and he hung out during the day, had his granddaughter with him. It was great to see her. I'd never met her before, but boy, she looks like her dad, Mark. And so as we're going along, Tony decided, let's use David for this. And when the show was over, when David and I was getting ready to leave and David was in the back, Tony looked at me and Tony says, was he great or what? And I could tell when Tony's really, really serious. And he even hugged David. He told David, he said, David, I want you to come back for the Charlotte show, Battle of the Belts. I'd like you to come to Raleigh because it's, your family meant so much to this business. And David has agreed to do that. And it brought back a lot of emotions for me personally that we've talked about on the show, but it also brought back to me some emotions about how much Tony loves the old school stuff.
Yeah.
And appreciates it and honors it. And I'm telling you right now, that's a hell of a hairdo I got right there.
And that mustache ain't bad neither.
Yeah.
Let's take a listen.
Hairdo.
Singles titles around, including
again?
the World Heavyweight Championship.
That's right, Tony. I didn't know I had an interview right now, but I would like to take this time to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'll tell you what, I'm warming up for Ric Flair. And I think everybody out there is with me in saying that Ric Flair has been the champion far too long so far. And there's somebody that needs to go after Ric Flair and after the World Heavyweight Championship, and that's what I'm here to do. So Ric Flair, take heed. You better have fun while you can, because there's a new kid in town, and he's coming after you.
Harry Windham. Fans, we're coming right back.
I love he started with, I didn't know I had an interview right now.
Well, apparently he went in the back because I was filling. You saw me on camera there a lot more. And then they said, go back out there and talk to Tony. So there you go.
Now it's going to be the Road Warriors, who were the 6-man tag champs, but they're here just as a tag team, taking on Larry Steven and Butch Cooper. You ever seen something get shot into space? I think we might here.
And I don't think it's going to take too long. Good God. Why not do it again?
Oh my God. What was that? That landing. This fella, I don't think's ever been in a wrestling ring.
I don't think so either. And I think,
and I'm not sure if I'm talking about the enhancement guy or Hawk. My God, an animal just decapitated that poor guy. It's over. There is a merciful God.
Yeah. When you got a kid in there that was kind of stiff, didn't know what he was doing, he paid the price. And you see this in replay, how he paid the price.
Yeah, you're not supposed to fall on your head.
Oh.
Great win, first of the program.
Tell me he doesn't like Kenny Omega.
Competition at its finest, man. The Road Warriors are an awesome force in professional wrestling. They're right here with the NWA. You know, Tony Schiavone, It's Christmas time is coming up, brother, and I hope everybody has a very safe and a happy holiday season. But, you know, as 1986 draws to a close, 87 is a new year coming in, and it seems like 86 just started just not too long ago, brother, when time flies, when you're having fun. And right here in the NWA with the top competition all over the world, brother. They're going all over the world now, and I'm proud to be a part of it, you know. But I want people to sit up and take notice. You know, 86 was a very good year. It was a banner year for Crockett Promotions, as it was for Brad Armstrong and the Armstrong family as a whole. Like I said, it is Christmas time, and it's time for families to be getting back together. And I just want to say that my dad has been talking to Jim Crockett Promotions, and he's been negotiating, and hopefully the Bullet Bob Armstrong will be coming back this way and maybe into some tag team situations. But like I said, yeah, I'm glad to hear that myself. But I tell you what, just one-on-one, Jimmy Garvin is still running his mouth. He's saying a lot of things. Well, brother, talking don't get the job done, because if it did, I guess you'd be the world's heavyweight champion, but you're not, Jimmy Garvin. And what you are is running your mouth, and what you better be able to do is back it up, because Brad Armstrong's here, and he's here to stay, and he ain't here to play, because Crockett Organization, like I said, has got the best competition in the world, and if you want to make a name for yourself, brother, it's right here is the place to do it, and that's exactly what I intend to do. It's what I started in 86. It's what I intend to do. It's I want some people to stand up and take notice in 1987.
Okay, Brad, thank you very much. Fans, more.
So you're supposed to have the end in mind. Is that what you were saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I felt like that was about 8 minutes right there.
Yeah, that's right. He would heap on another cliche, but he didn't know where to end this.
You know, Doom the Road Warriors.
That's right, Tony Schiavone. I hope Ric Flair, with all his money, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, all your money, all your cars, all your women, just saw what I did to that little geek's neck, and it can happen just as easy to you four morons, four horsemen. We got 8-man tags all over this country. You can't run, and you can run, and you can run, but you can't hide from the Legion of Doom and Midnight Express. Don't forget, all over this country, we got a few Knights of Skywalkers left. Ain't that right, Hawk?
Hey, Tony Schiavone, all we've ever been interested is hurting people. Like that cat in the ring there. I loved hurting him. I loved the sound of the pain that came out of his body. And I'm going to continue to love that for the rest of my stinking life. Anybody who gets in my way or animals' way is going to get their stinking lights punched out. I'm sick and tired of everybody up here talking about how bad they are and then getting in the ring and looking like a bunch of little women. Well, we're far from little women. We're very big men, and we're very hot. And the next people that get in the ring with us are going to be the last time they get in the ring with anybody, because we're going to end their stinking careers.
Tony Schiavone, it's only beginning. 1987 bunkhouse matches, scaffold matches, 6-man title defenses. The Legion of Doom has taken the world on, it seems. We're going to the City of Angels, and believe me, Tony, angels we are not. We're going to the city by the bay, and believe me, we're going to leave the bay one frozen sheet of ice, and we're going to Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're going the world over, the Legion of Doom, and we're taking them all on.
Okay, let's go back to the ring.
I thought for every bit as real as Hawk felt, maybe Paul's a little over the top.
Yeah. Someday you never knew when Paul was going to wrap up the interview, and sometimes he would, and sometimes he wouldn't. And a lot of times, as great as, and you know, Paul was a hell of a performer as a wrestler.
Yes.
In Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Yep.
But sometimes his interview after the Road Warriors left a lot to be desired. Sometimes. You just never know. But I liked how Hawk said, I love hurting that guy, which he really did.
That was great.
Yeah. That was Hawk being pissed off about the job guy. But that's what you had, man. That's what you had. And help me out here, and I don't know the answer. I don't even know if you know the answer, but all this enhancement talent.
Yeah.
You know, now when we do darker elevation, almost all of the enhancement talent are guys and girls that are wrestling on the independent circuit.
I see.
Well, you know that.
Yeah.
But now back in those days, was into this is a long way of asking you this question.
Yeah,
Back
it's
in
very
those
long.
days-
I feel like you started it on Friday.
Okay, so let me finish, please. I started on Thursday, actually. Started on Christmas Eve, yes. Where was I? What was I talking about?
Some of these enhancement talent, these days
Yes.
they're on the
Yes.
independent circuit, but these guys.
Was there independent wrestling back then?
Yes, there was.
Okay. Not like it is today.
No, back then it was referred to as outlaw shows and shit like that.
Right. And now, these days, they're not outlaw shows these days. They're just outlaw promoters, right?
There are a handful, as I've heard.
Yeah. I know. Anyway, so anyway, Merry Christmas. I didn't know how to end that promo.
Hey, so tell me about, you were asking me about enhancement guys, and I think you were driving at where did we get them from, or all
back
that
in this
jazz,
day.
but I don't know what there would have been a possible follow-up to that from. Chat me up about Christmas.
Yay, Merry Christmas.
Well, I mean, I know it's over, but I'm just saying, what was your favorite Christmas memory from this year, 2021?
Seeing my granddaughter Madeline, and going over and seeing Madeline and little Noah. And I was over at Laurie's house for a bit, and Madeline and Noah, they're 2 years old each, and Lila, she's 10 months. And they were all three of them were going crazy, just playing with toys and pushing each other, and some of them were crying and everything. And Laurie looked at me, she says, "How did you guys do 5?" And I went, "I have no idea, but hey, I got to go." So just hanging out with them, I think, was great.
Well, do you remember we had this discussion this year at my household? What was your favorite Christmas toy as a kid?
It was a football game called All Pro Football, I think. It was this thing where, and I think I mentioned this before, where you had this gigantic vinyl field.
Yep.
That you stretched out, and it covered the living room at our house. And then the running back was on a wind up thing, and the linebackers were on wheels, and you tackle the linebackers. I looked for that game on about 10 years ago. I looked for that game online, and I found it, and I've got it up in the attic now. Another copy of it.
That's cool.
Because it reminds me of my childhood. There was another football game too. A couple of football games. Those were my favorite toys growing up.
What about your kids? Does any one toy that Santa brought your kids stick out?
Well, oddly you would say, because Matt went up into the attic, did not find a 6-man belt, because we know where that is, and that's another story that I'm sure you're going to bring up many times. It being in San Diego, he went up to the attic and he found a lot of Star Wars characters.
Oh, wow.
I took pictures of them and sent them to our buddy Matt Cardona. And Matt said some of those are worth a lot of money. Some of them aren't, because they are reprints. And so the Star Wars characters were Matt's big thing. And there are also a lot of Pogs. You remember Pogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are Pogs up there. There are G.I. Joe characters up there. So I would say for Matt and the boys, it would be the Star Wars characters and the G.I. Joe characters. For Laurie, it probably would have been, she got a number of Cabbage Patch dolls that I think would have been big for her. I always kind of felt bad for her, because it was a boys' world we lived in with 4 boys and 1 girl, So.
Yeah.
So that was it. Those were my favorite. What were your favorite toys during Christmas?
I asked I had that conversation with my dad, and I told him I thought it was like this mobile G.I. Joe base thing. And then he said, I don't know, son. When you were a kid and you got that He-Man, whatever Skeletor's castle was called. And I said, you mean Castle Grayskull? And he says, yeah, that's the one. And you were pretty damn excited about that as a kid. Yeah. And then both mom and dad eventually came around to the year I got my first computer, which I guess would have been 93 or maybe 94.
Wow.
And, they were like, oh, I remember you were pretty excited about that too. So those are probably the top 3 based on what I've been told.
The, G.I. Joe, mobile unit, whatever, was that a big round one?
It had like the sides would fold up and you landed a helicopter in the middle.
Okay.
So it was, I don't know that it was round, it was rectangular, but it had like a cannon on the top. It was crazy. I've looked it up years ago on eBay, and there's one that was new in the box that was hundreds or thousands of dollars, whatever it was. I was like, too damn much for me. I'm not that into G.I. Joe, but
we also found it's pretty cool because we just touched a bit of what's up there in the attic. 30 years worth of shit, right? We also found our first video unit. It was a Beta.
That's cool.
Okay? A Betamax, we found that. And Lois found some Beanie Babies. Okay. One Beanie Baby we looked up on eBay. They're asking $5,000 for it.
Wow.
How about that? It's treasure hunt, man. It really is. And it's a treasure hunt of memories. And again, I've got up there somewhere my old ticket stubs from my years of going to the Greensboro Coliseum. That when I find them, I'm going to frame them along, if you're watching our video portion of, frame them along with this Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling patch that I have.
From Dick Bourne.
From Dick Bourne. Haven't heard from Dick Bourne in a long time.
I heard from him over the holiday. He's doing great. Spending it with his dad.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of dads, here's my wife's dad.
Nature boy, Ric Flair.
Give him all a shot. Sugar and spice and everything nice. You know, Tony Schiavone, we have the opportunity to sit back here in that control room as wrestlers and look at what you and I know to be the greatest wrestlers in the world come out here and compete, and then come out here and stand with you and tell the whole world what's going on in their business life and in their private life. Now you see, I couldn't help but over here, Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff. You see, I was going to be real cool today, real low-keyed. But then I heard Nikita Koloff, and I'm going to remain calm for the first part of this. I heard Nikita Koloff telling everybody what he did to me in Baltimore and Philadelphia, and how my days as World Heavyweight Champion are numbered. Well, Nikita, I'm going to make one point real clear to the listening audience right now. You see, what I'm going to do for you, my friend, is I'm going to enroll you in a class in inhalation therapy. Because you see, at about the 20-minute mark in Philadelphia, you were like all the girls at the Marriott in room 806 when JJ turned out the lights. The horsemen were all in position. We were all hollering, screaming. We were raising the roof. And all of a sudden, all the girls hollered, "Stop! We can't take anymore." That was you, Nikita. The referee heard you. I heard you. You said, "Nature boy, I can't handle it anymore. You're too much man." Now, Dusty Rhodes, let me tell you something. We all are aware of the fact that you and Springsteen are like this. You and Willie Nelson are like this. Hank Williams, David Allen, all your buddies. But let me tell you something, Big Dust. Who would you rather wake up in the morning with? Willie Nelson or Deborah Shelton? You see, while you are traveling around the world in your musical bliss, the Four Horsemen are going from penthouse to penthouse to penthouse, making the whole world smile. You see, we are an equal opportunity organization. And when I get to Minneapolis, if you're 5'5", 5'8", blonde or brunette, you belong to Arn Anderson because you'll be just his size. If you're 5'6", 5'7", blonde or brunette, redhead, you belong to J.J. Dillon. You see, Minneapolis is my town.
And after I destroy you, Nikita Koloff, I'm going to T-Wright's and Billy's Lighthouse, and we're going to tear it down. One more point.
Okay.
I'm going to Los Angeles. That's right. I'm going to Los Angeles, and I've let you all into some never to be one to run my mouth. Dusty Rhodes is a Boston Celtics fan. He is a turkey just like Larry Bird is. So Magic and Kareem and James and all the boys, Jack Nicholson, I want you all in the front row because myself and one Tully Blanchard are going to take it to Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff just like the Lakers did to the Boston Celtics.
Let's go to the ring.
This is a Horseman and Dusty show, buddy. This is like a best of 86 in a single episode.
It was like he was stooging. I got one more thing to tell you. Dusty Rhodes is the Boston Celtics fan. Which he was, by the way. And Jimmy Crockett bought him stock in the Boston Celtics as a present one year. Big Celtics fan. And, of course, we're talking about going to the Forum, and that was a pretty big deal. Yeah, it was a very big deal. Not a pretty big deal. A very big deal for us in the Forum. So, yeah, man, this is just some days they kick it into high gear, don't they, with their interviews?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think the week before we had talked on last week's show, they were very intense as well. The holidays, you're going to make a lot of money. You know, we even ran between Christmas and New Year's back then. If you go back, and I know you have the listings, but we ran afternoon shows during the weekday.
Yeah, let's run through it. On the 26th, you were in Charleston, South Carolina, and Richmond, Virginia. 2 shows that day. On the 27th, you did a big show at the Omni as a matinee.
Yeah.
But then that night, you were in Minneapolis. And then on the 28th, you had a matinee show in Greensboro.
Right.
But that same day, you had a show in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Wow.
On the 29th, you were in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and Inglewood, California. And then San Francisco on December 30th, Civic Auditorium, 8,500 fans. This is a sellout.
Yep.
Pretty strong, man. Everywhere you're going, a bunch of people are showing up.
I guess the idea back then was that a lot of fans took the entire week off between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
So we gave them afternoon to do some things. So I remember always looking at that thinking, wow, because during the weekday you run a night show, everybody's at work normally, but now we're running afternoon shows between the Christmas and New Year's. So
we're seeing Ravishing Rick Rude here do his thing. And, you know, I was not watching wrestling in 1986. So my first introduction to Rick Rude was in the WWF.
Right.
And, I don't know, dude. I've always just sort of assumed he was strictly a WWF character, but you see here, looks great. Wrestles the same. I think maybe the difference is he's not as oiled up. He's not as tan. You think that was a Vince directive, or he just knew, hey, I'm on the big TV now?
It was a Vince directive.
Are you ever going to be back on camera, you think?
There you go.
Did you have to pick your nose?
No, Lois came in, may have gotten a quick shot of her. She does not want to be on camera. She came in to get the bug so he can go take his medicine. So I had to turn off the camera.
So you picked your nose?
No, she does want to be seen.
Why? Is she Batman?
I don't need that heat. I don't need that. Was I on camera? No, you weren't, but she was. She snuck.
But I mean, how's she going to do the whole second episode with us here? If
she's not going to do the second episode with us.
Well, you told me last week she wouldn't sit and do 2 whole episodes with us, so we compromised on 1. Mm-hmm. And this is around the time we were saying that your wife's on Facebook and mine's cooking breakfast.
Which is still one of the lines of the year. No question.
So you never even bothered her Facebook feed to ask her?
No.
Okay. So we're just disappointing the fans yet again.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I'm sorry to do that, but we're watching wrestling together, which is what friends do. Or
Is it just me, or can you tell this is a much longer show? I realize that it's, we've only been watching like 45-minute episodes for the last several months here during football season, but now we've got a full hour and a half, and it feels it.
Yeah, it's your basic 2-hour 6:05 Saturday night show.
Just a ton of matches, a ton of promos.
Yeah. Speaking of football, this coming week, got a couple of SEC teams in the championship. The championship semifinals, that is. That should be very cool. You going to watch those games?
Yep.
Yep. I'm not.
Of course not.
Yep.
Typical Schiavone.
Typical Schiavone. Yep. I don't. I don't watch a lot of stuff on TV, and then sometimes I sit around and ask myself, "What do you? Then what do you do?" And the answer would be, nothing.
A lot of strokes, right?
Do you read the dirt sheets? No. Do you go online and no? Do you go on social media? No. Do you watch football? No. Do you watch baseball? No. I watch some streaming shows. I'm really big into The Witcher right now on Netflix. And I watch some old movies. I watch the Muppet Christmas Carol. That's one of our traditions. The Schiavone family, the Muppet Christmas Carol. One of the better ones. Another one is It's a Wonderful Life. Is that one of your favorite movies?
Nope. I've actually never seen it all the way through.
Yeah, well, you're going to burn in hell for that one.
Why?
Because
I said last week that Christmas was about Jesus, and you cursed me.
And you're R&R. Everybody wants to try it. Well, let me tell you something. All the teams, you bring it on. But let me warn you that my men are not only going to defend their belts, they're not only going to keep them, but they're going to hurt somebody and hurt somebody bad. And that goes for you, Jayhawks. That goes for you, Road Warriors. And that goes for you, Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff.
That's right. It goes for every one of them. And you know what? It's getting kind of contagious, isn't it, Schiavone? Every time someone gets in the ring with us, they get hurt real bad. And I was listening to Big Hawk Road Warrior out here flapping his gums. Well, if you're bad as you think you are, why don't you come after what we got? Because you know everybody in the world of professional wrestling wants to have our titles, don't they, Bull?
You know something, Daddy? When you talk about an awesome demonstration, you talk about R&R and all these goofy people out here talking about rock and roll. Well, rock and roll's gone and R&R's here to stay. So live with it, go to bed with it, and dream about it, because there's only two, and that's the Awesome Twosome and Mr. Paul Jones and his protection agency. And Road Warriors, Garvin, Windham, anybody, Jayhawks, if you want some of this, Daddy, this is the roughest action in town. And if you want a piece of it, it's called the NWA World Tag Team Champions and Mr. Paul Jones. So if you want to ride the bull, baby, come on. It ain't no Space Mountain, but it's an awesome sight and one of the most awesome wrestling machines in the world. Ravishing and raging, double R's. And in the words of a famous partner of mine, former partner, risky business, Jack.
Let me tell you something, rock and roll. You're in a lot of trouble.
Okay, fans, back with more right after this timeout.
What a line. God. That should have been a t-shirt right there. What a line.
This match for the NWA World Television title, the champion Tully Blanchard defending against Randy Barber.
How about that? Randy Barber. You think he's going to be the next TV champ?
I doubt it.
I doubt it too. Hey, let me ask, did you see the new Leonardo DiCaprio movie?
No, I did not. What is it?
Well, you know, he comes out a movie around Christmas, it seems like every year.
Okay.
And this one is called Don't Look Up. Let me tell you, don't look it up. It is the most disappointing Jonah Hill, Leonardo DiCaprio, Meryl Streep movie of all time.
Okay. Well, the fact that Meryl Streep's in it means I don't want to watch it.
Oh, you don't like her politics?
No, I just don't like her as an actress. I always thought she was very overrated as an actress. Very.
I mean, I thought you were very overrated as an announcer. I still gave you a shot.
You're not the only one that thought that.
I know Jim Ross does. He texts me that once a week.
Yeah. Well, I know you lie on that, but thank God Tony Khan never thought I was. And that's the most important thing right now. Back to the movies. Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life may not only be the greatest Christmas movie of all time, it may be the greatest movie of all time.
Is it really?
Yeah, and the fact that you haven't watched it all the way through means that you don't know shit about movies, obviously.
Well, it's black and white.
Yeah, well, there's a colorized version out there.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm colorblind.
Then everything's in black and white to you.
Yes, that was the joke that you missed about 4 minutes ago.
Okay.
Hey, are you going to be surprised when Danhausen shows up?
In AEW?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got a broken leg right now.
I said when, not now, next week.
Okay.
You mean, you reckon that leg's going to stay broke forever, Tony? Is that what you're saying? You got the inside
never know.
scoop?
You never know. Sometimes they just don't heal.
That his very evil leg is very dead?
It could be. It could be.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to actually talk to him really for the first time ever at C2E2.
Did he make you give him money?
No.
Yeah.
Is that one of his gimmicks?
No, I knew that if you are at a Comic-Con and you see a guy in paint, you just open your wallet.
No, I don't. I don't.
Okay.
What's the matter?
Last time you went to C2E2, you told me you spent like $1,500.
Spent a lot. Sure
Yeah.
did. And I spent some money this time too. If you'll see on the wall there at the stairwell in the Batcave, I've got some more prints, and I got even more that I got to put up that I've had framed. So yeah, and I've got a lot over here to my left. I got a lot of figures and statues, or as my son Tim would say, Dad, you got a lot of dolls.
That's true.
No, I don't have dolls.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
No, they're action figures.
Is that really like a big issue?
Not with me, with obviously my son Tim, but not with me.
Hey, did you see I'm getting an action figure?
No.
Yeah, I got an action figure coming out.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's tremendous.
Yeah. I hope that one day you get one and then my action figure can, pick on your action figure. Be a shit.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I've seen a few cartoons with you and I in it.
Yep.
All of them are very entertaining, and I kind of wish more would get done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then again, the staff that you put together,
including yourself, you were like the second hire.
Yeah. Kind of half-ass it,
Yeah, they learned it from watching you, Dad.
Yeah.
Remember that old dope smoking commercial that you watched in the 80s?
No.
It used to be on California Raisins in between the honeycomb commercials.
Loved California Raisins.
Team the Rock and Roll Express.
That's right, Tony. They come out here saying, we will rock you. The only thing you're going to rock, baby, is rocking yourself right out that door when the Rock and Roll Express gets a hold of you. Now, you talk about the awesome twosome. Well, a big German Shepherd left a big pile of awesome twosome in my front yard this morning, Jack. That's what we think about you. We don't care what it takes, Manny Fernandez and Rick Rude. And for you, Paul Jones, got that big black hat on. I wish I had two of them, baby, and I can tell you what the other one's for. But we're going to find out exactly what you're made out of. We're going to find out if you can handle the pressure, baby, because we know what it's like. We knows what it's like night after night defending those titles against the greatest tag teams in the world because it's the NWA, the best in the world. It's the real thing. And Manny Fernandez and Rick Rude, the day is going to come. The day is going to come when you got to face us. You got to put your name on that contract, baby, because we were wrestling champions, and we are wrestling champions, and you're going to find out how come we're going to become the World Tag Team Champions for the fourth time. Woo!
Back with more right after this timeout.
I mean, we're getting everybody in to do promos twice. Did we not bring enough guys to TV?
We apparently not. Apparently not. We're going to see Wahoo McDaniel here pretty soon. Jim Cornette again.
Midnight Express, you look in a bad mood.
I'm not in a good mood, Tony Schiavone, because let me tell you something. I heard the Road Warriors out here. I heard Hawk out here talking about the next time the Midnight Express gets in the ring, it's going to be the last time. Well, let me tell you something, Road Warriors, and you see I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm dead serious. I'm talking to you, Warriors. I'm talking to Paul Ellering. I'm talking to all your stupid fans. Besides the fact, not only did you embarrass me at Starrcade, not only did you humiliate me in front of all those people, not only did you chase me up that scaffold, knock me down, make me hurt my leg, not only did you make me have surgery, but the most horrible, the most awful thing that you did, you made my mother cry. Because when I came to in that hospital room and that team of doctors was all around there, she was in there and she came and she held my hand and she looked down at me and she said, Jim, she calls me Jim when I'm sick. She said, Jim, I want you to get those boys back for what they did to you, and she had tears rolling down her cheeks. So let me tell you something, Road Warriors. Besides the bunkhouse matches coming up in places like Minneapolis, Los Angeles, San Francisco, the Midnight Express is going to be meeting you 2-on-2 in tag matches. And then the scaffolds start going up all over the country. And we're going back 25 feet up in the air. And you know as well as I do now what can happen. One way or another, Road Warriors, we're going to show you the inside of a hospital room. We're going to show you the inside of an operating room. The Midnight Express and Big Bubba Rogers are my instruments of revenge, because now we're not only getting revenge for me, we're getting it for Mama. Because anybody who would make somebody's mother cry has to be the lowest form of human scum in the world. And that's exactly what you are, Road Warriors. And that's exactly what you are, Paul Ellering. You're human scum. You're nothing but juvenile delinquents off the streets of Chicago. And we're going to finish you once and for all. The next time you get in the ring with the Midnight Express might just be the last time you climb in there with anybody. Think about that, Jack.
Okay. Let's go back to the ring.
I love that Cornette had so many gears, right?
Right.
He could be silly, he could be funny, or he could be serious as a heart attack. That was great stuff.
Yeah. It did the worst thing you do, make my mama cry. That popped me.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Here's Wahoo. I don't know if Wahoo's going to do an interview with us or not. Probably not. But, again, I think we're going to end the show with the Four Horsemen. But, and again, they're doing another interview. I just, you look at that and you think off the, just kind of on the surface, why would you have a second interview? But they were so good at what they did.
Yeah.
It was entertaining TV, regardless of I don't think anybody would say, oh, here comes Dusty again. Maybe a few, but most wouldn't say it. Or here come the Horsemen again. They were just entertaining stuff. So if you got them, use them, right? We had Barry Windham do a second one. Didn't even know he was going to do it. But he was out there. We had Ronnie Garvin here once. Rock and Roll Express came out twice. Dusty only came out once. Dusty wasn't going to come out a second time unless there's something that provoked him to come out. Unless there was something that Flair said that was so good that he had to answer it. You know?
Yeah. Can't leave that go unchecked.
All right. Look at this. This is some... That poor kid got his ass chopped there. Needs his teeth worked on as well, apparently.
Man, I don't want to do anything with the Wahoo.
No. Man's man, as they say.
I would like to not do anything with Wahoo.
Yeah. I got a special bonus chapter devoted to Wahoo.
Well, we'll never know because we're never going to get our goddamn books, you see.
You are going to get your goddamn books, you goddamn lie.
How am I lying?
You're lying. Well, you say never, and that's a lie.
Okay. Well, when?
I don't know. I'm not a dock worker. I'm not.
Throw it off on dock workers? Are you disrespecting the good goddamn name of dock workers in this fine American country? You know, I'm proud to be an American, Tony.
Well, I'm glad you are, Ronnie Garvin, but let me say this, that how come why are things sitting on a boat? Explain to me. I don't read the news, so I don't know why. We always hear, supplies are down. Well, why? And they always say, it's politics. Bullshit. People just don't want to fucking work. And that's the problem we have. That's the problem we have in the world, not necessarily this country, is that no one has a work ethic. No one.
Well, I mean, me neither.
Some people do.
You just said no one.
Not enough people have a work ethic. Put it that way.
Which of your kids has the best work ethic? Don't give me a tie either. Got to pick one. That's a tough one. I can think of at least 3 hard workers.
Yeah, me too. I guess maybe Matt.
Okay.
No, I don't know. Maybe my daughter, because she's got 2 jobs. It's hard.
So you're not going to give an answer.
Well, it's difficult. It's difficult to give an answer. I'd like to think that
All right, which one's the laziest fuck?
Well, it'd be easy to say, John Michael.
Oh,
it'd be easy to say that, just to throw his name out, try to throw him under the bus. But I don't even know what his job is now. So he may be working very hard wherever he lives, which I think is Seattle right now. So.
All righty. Let's bring the show to a halt here as we see Wahoo McDaniel bring his opponent here to a halt.
Well, I know you're trying to get me to shit on my kids, which
no, I tried to get you to put one over and you wouldn't. Okay. So I said shit on one and you wasted no time picking one.
No, if you put one over, you shit on the others.
Oh God.
And so that's kind of,
I'm not going to give one of you a compliment. Instead, I'll give none of you a compliment.
But I know you're
I'm going to say it one last time, and this is directed and right at you, Nikita Koloff. You see, Tully Blanchard is the world television champion. Ric Flair is the world heavyweight champion. And I am standing here naked, and I don't like it. You see, when I set my sights on being one of the 4 horsemen, the first thing I realized was you got to be a champion to qualify. Well, Nikita Koloff, you've got something around your waist that goes unnoticed, unmentioned a lot of times. See, this is what you want. But you see, Nikita, that thing you got around your waist is the stepping stone to this. You're not going to get this, but what you're going to do is you're going to lose your meal ticket, Nikita, because you see, all those big muscles don't matter, because I'm not a midget myself. What I am is a man that's starving to death to be a champion, and that's the bottom line.
That's it. The bottom line is Arn Anderson's a horseman. Ric Flair's a horseman. Tully Blanchard's a horseman. J.J. Dillon, Ole Anderson. That's what it's all about. The horsemen rule, reign, and make professional wrestling just exactly what it is today. Go for it, J.J. Sing to him, Daddy.
Well, when you're out here, I'm almost can understand how all the wrestlers are intimidated when they see you across the ring wearing the 10 pounds of gold. As close as we've become friends in the 4 horsemen over the years, every time that we're in each other's company, whether it's in Chicago or whether it's in San Francisco or Los Angeles or New York, I still get goosebumps. Woo! Because when we say diamonds are forever and so are the 4 horsemen, that is the living truth.
JJ, think about it, brother. You are the man that put the finest wrestling corporation of all time together. And that's right, the 4 horsemen, Ole and Arn, Tully and Rick, masterminded by JJ. You know what? We can walk the aisle. We can get in the ring. We can call the shots. We beat up who we want to beat up, when we want to beat them up, and where we want to beat them up. In other words, if there's a promoter out there that's got a lot of big money, he calls on us. You know why? Because we pack major arenas all over the world, because people like to see the best wrestlers in the world today. That's us, not Dusty Rhodes, not Nikita, not the Road Warriors. That's us. You see, we are the horsemen.
The 4 horsemen right here, all for one and one for all. All right, here we are. Okay, very good.
Get it in there. I love it. No question in our mind. I told you, Rhodes, you better be watching close. The 4 horsemen are after you. We're after those National Wrestling Alliance tag team belts. We're with the U.S. belts. We're going to take it all.
Our dog.
We'll see you next week.
Boy, they got a lot of mic work in on that show.
Ooh, classic horseman ease. And Arn kind of did the Stone Cold line even before Stone Cold had it, right? And that's the bottom line.
We actually just heard that over on the Arn Show, where we're actually covering month by month of his career. And we're going to the next week here. Hey, I forgot to ask something earlier. You were talking about what you and Lois are doing every morning. What did you get Lois for Christmas?
Got her a diamond pendant.
Oh, you can't hide money. Was it like a pendant of the Fox logo? Like the Fox News logo?
No, but that would have been a pretty damn good idea.
Oh,
it was just a little stone. That's all it was.
That's fancy.
And she got me a couple more Batman figures.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, how about that?
Y'all have some hallway sex over the holiday?
We always have hallway sex.
You want to catch our listeners up about what we're talking about? Because it sounds kind of dirty out of context.
Well, it's really not. And let me explain. She has one bedroom and I have another. And we get up in the morning and we actually walk by each other in the hallway and we say, fuck you. And that's always sex.
Okay. So, tell me that you're not eating a lot of home cooked meals without telling me you're not eating a lot of home cooked meals.
I was.
Let's watch World Championship Wrestling, man. December 27th, 1986. Rather than play that goofy song again, why don't you come up with a fun way to give us a countdown personally?
My own countdown type
Yeah,
thing?
I'm for it.
Okay. All right. Our buddy Steph Chesney, who has done this, apparently has done a full-length song.
Really?
Yeah. So we are going to this week put that full-length song on Patreon so you can hear the entire thing.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's all about the Chesney, da-da-da. Steph Chesney, da-da-da, who texts me every fucking day, da-da-da, but is a rock and roll guy, da-da-da, who lives in L.A., da-da-da-da-da, and is from London, da-da-da, and here's your countdown, 3, 2, 1, play. Interesting start at the start of the show, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a hot open, right?
Yeah.
I'm not flipping off of this anytime soon as I see Dusty and the Road Warriors coming to the ring.
Wow. I wonder if this is from the Rosemont Horizon.
Why don't I look it up real fast?
This does not look like any, the way the fans are crowded in there, it doesn't.
Yeah, there's actually a crowd there. It's not like y'all normally ran.
Yeah, it's not like a Greensboro Coliseum or something.
Oh yeah, do it like Arn did. Come on.
He went doodle 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 doo.
Oh, he doodled.
He doodle, yeah, doodle 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 doo. Doodle 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 doodle. World Championship Wrestling, featuring great wrestling action, sanctioned by the NWA, National Wrestling Alliance. Let's go to Dave and Tony.
In the world, and that's World Championship Wrestling. Tony, the sight that we just saw, that was really the greatest moment in wrestling.
It really was one of the most awesome sights in pro sports. Dusty Rhodes, the Road Warriors, and Nikita Koloff all going to the ring together. And David, what a program we have here today.
That's right, because they're all here. We're talking about the Road Warriors. They're here. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. The United States Heavyweight Champion, Nikita Koloff. Now listen, we're going to have a match. And I had to get this out because this is some match. For the United States Tag Team Championship, we've got them. And it's going to be right here. And it's going to be, listen, we're going to have Barry Windham and Ron Garvin, the Tag Team Champions, against the Midnight Express and Jim Cornette.
There's no doubt about it. The Midnight Express, they have to be considered one of the top contenders for that U.S. Tag Team title.
That's right. And listen, we've got the World Television Champion. He's going to defend his title here too.
So titles being defended right here today on television, and we saw them just moments ago, and here they are right now, the superpowers, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, along with Nikita Koloff.
You just said it, the most awesome power in pro sports. Dusty Rhodes, the Road Warriors, Nikita Koloff. Man, day after day, week after week, Ric Flair, the Four Horsemen, talking trash on this Funky Like a Monkey tour. Getting ready to be 87. Gonna be fabulous tonight in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with my main man now, superpower #1, Nikita Koloff, Nature Boy, get down and funky like a monkey. Me and the Warriors gonna kick some booty. Me and the Warriors gonna get down in Minneapolis. Me and the Warriors gonna party in Minneapolis. Me and the Warriors gonna go crazy in Minneapolis. This is nuts. It is right. We are right. Yeah, come here. Yes, listen at him yell for you, Nicky. That old fat girl over there love you to death, man. I ain't lying. Go ahead.
No, comrade.
Yeah.
In the last week, Arn Anderson, come on and say a lot about Nikita Koloff. Well, Arn Anderson, you are a great wrestler, or you would not be one of Four Horsemen. Here is USA title. You want your chance, you name a place, you name a time, and Nikita will going to be there. Tully Blanchard, maybe you want to put your title up against Nikita title. And tonight, je t'attends, Ric Flair. Tonight, how you say American Dream, they call these Twin Cities.
Twin Cities, brother. Twin Cities. You hit it, man?
That's where I'm going tonight for you, Ric Flair. You see, this could be your last night as world heavyweight champion. It's time for you, Ric Flair, to put, how do you say, put your era aside. And it's time for new breed, new era, new world champion, Nikita Koloff.
The superpowers, Dusty Rhodes, Nikita Koloff. Here we go to the ring.
So Dickie Murdoch going to take on Brody Chase, but how freaking fun is listening to Nikita Koloff here in 1986?
It was a treat, especially when he said, what do they call it? The Twin Cities? Yes. Very close to where you were born, motherfucker. Dusty was in one of those funny, playful moods. I could tell that. The audio person was doing a terrible job because Dusty didn't sound good. Didn't sound clear. Had to back off the microphone a little bit on that. And Dick Murdoch just going to slowly. Oh, we still got blood spots in the ring. Yes, of course we do.
Why wouldn't he?
Staph infection be damn. Staph infection be damn.
How many staph infections you had?
I had 0.
I bet it sucks though, don't you think?
Oh my! I had never heard of staph infection until I got into wrestling. It's pretty serious. Pretty serious. There you go. And that's what it came from. Dirty guys cutting themselves and rubbing up against dirty ring mats. That is. Scrappy McGowan is your referee. By the way, just to let fans know, and you know this, obviously, but we're going to reiterate, this is the last show of 1986.
Yep. And we got it done. That's the reason we're doing 2 is
right.
Tony pulled up lame and said, I'm going to go sell stapled comic books. Can we play a best of or whatever excuse he needed to get out of work that week.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing 2 today and now we'll be completely done. I didn't want to leave one 1986 episode not wrapped up.
Right. I just, and I also wanted to give the guys that work with us a chance to do some work, which obviously they didn't do much. They didn't build a best of show. Had Bruce taken yet another day off, they would have snapped together and put a best of show together just like that. But they just kind of rolled in, Ask Tony Live because they didn't want to do any work. And I get that. I mean,
hey, what do you think about next week on the show?
Yeah.
Or maybe next month rather. We don't have to do it next week, but just at some point in January.
Yeah.
As we talked about, we're going to be starting our sixth year anniversary, or our season 6 rather. And you may recall that first episode came out on January 30th, 2017.
Okay. All right.
And that was the night after the Royal Rumble from San Antonio.
Yep.
And I remember you texting me very upset that I think the text, I may have to scroll up and find it. Because of you, I know who Big Cass is.
Yeah.
And I'll never forgive you for it.
Why is this big fucker on my TV screen?
Because you had completely turned wrestling off, but that's the first show you watched back.
Right.
So I think as one of the shows we cover as we start season 6 is the 5-year anniversary of when you started watching wrestling again and watch Royal Rumble 2017. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm for it. We've got some ideas going into 2022.
Yeah.
But I'm for all that stuff, man.
Well, the matches we'll be watching will be Charlotte Flair versus Bayley for the Raw Women's Strap. Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns with Chris Jericho suspended above the ring in a shark cage for the Universal Championship in a no disqualification match. Then Neville and Rich Swann for the Cruiserweight title. Then John Cena and AJ Styles for the WWE title. And then, of course, the actual Royal Rumble, where Big Cass comes in at number 1.
So that's Royal Rumble from 2017, right?
Yep. Your first show back. It'd be fun to visit it 5 years later. Oh, I'm proud to be an American. And look, that is engraved.
Yeah,
monogram.
That's right.
Garvin, one half of the U.S. Tag Team Champion, one half of the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champion.
That's correct. Ronnie has been a great Mid-Atlantic champion, and he and Barry have got off to a great start as the U.S. champions. The only problem is the NWA has a rule that you can only hold one major championship, and Ronnie, you hold 2, and we've told you ahead of time, you have to decide which title you want to keep.
Well, it's a big disappointment to me, but, I got to go by the rules. If that's what the rule says, I had a lot of work behind this belt, and it represents the Mid-Atlantic area, and there's a lot of fans, and I don't mean no disrespect for it, because partnering with this means a whole lot to me. But I don't want to disappoint my partner, Barry Windham. And the United States tag title is a very prestigious belt, very important. So I got a choice to make, and I'm going to give this one away.
Okay.
I'm going to keep the United States title.
Okay, so it's the Mid-Atlantic title coming back.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. I know you'll be a great U.S. champion, and we'll let the fans know what the disposition of this title will be very soon.
Okay, fans, we'll be back right after this time out.
And the disposition that was it. We never saw it again.
Amazing. That's a historic moment.
It was big time. I'm glad we got to see it. I'd never seen that.
Yeah. So basically Ronnie gave it away and we ignored it from then on. Here we go.
Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff.
I said we're coming into a new year, and the Russian team is back to full strength with Vladimir Pietrov coming in. Very shortly you will see him, all you people. The greatest athlete in all the world. The most powerful man ever to set place on this earth. You will see. And Nikita, you know who I am talking about. Your nightmare from your childhood. The man that you have competed against many times. Oh, you think now because New Year is coming in, the Koloff mind would be on United States Tag Team titles, on capturing back the World Six-Man Tag Team Trophy. But more important than this, Nikita, you know every minute of every day that goes by, my mind is thinking on revenge of what you have done, stabbing me in the back, and more important, your country in the back. This must be avenged, and it will be revenge, Nikita. And you know how now. I've been saying it's going to be done the old country way. Now you realize what I have been talking about. The nightmare of your childhood. The man that gave you the most trouble in competition as you were growing up. The man that does 650-pound bench press, a half a ton in squats. The strongest man in the world, Nikita. And you, Dusty Rhodes, you listen to what I have to say also. I see you be knocked down many times, but every time you get up. But this is one time you will never get up when Vladimir come in here and knock you down. And Nikita, like I have said, your time is numbered. You're not going to get world title. We're going to stop you, and you're going to lose United States title.
Ivan Koloff and a warning from a man called Vladimir Pietrov. Fans, we're ready for our U.S. Tag Team title match.
2 weeks build now for him.
Yeah, how about that?
I'm pulling out all the stops for him as we're going to see the Midnight Express take on Barry Windham and Ron Garvin here. This is a big time match.
Yeah, considering if you look back what we've done on big time matches on TBS during '86, we didn't have many of them. This is a big time match. Again, going back to the Mid-Atlantic title, that title was was obviously a big staple for the Mid-Atlantic area. Every territory had its champion. There was a Florida champion, Central States champion. There was a, I don't know, did they have a Georgia heavyweight champion?
Yeah.
Not sure. They had a Georgia heavyweight champion. Mid-Atlantic had been through some, and I'm sure Dick Bourne can go back and tell us every person who'd ever held the Mid-Atlantic Championship, but it was such a big, big thing. And it was, and there's the end of it right there. And I have a feeling there that because of that, it kind of alienated some people, just like moving the Starrcade out of Greensboro did.
Working backwards, Ron Garvin, Black Bart, Sam Houston, Crusher Khrushchev, Buzz Tyler, Ron Bass, Angelo Moscott Jr., the Masked Outlaw, Ivan Koloff, Dick Slater, Rufus Jones, Dory Funk Jr., Jack Briscoe, Paul Jones, Roddy Piper, Ricky Steamboat, Ivan Koloff, the Iron Sheik, Jim Brunzell, Ray Stevens, Ken Patera, Tony Atlas, Wahoo McDaniel, Greg Valentine, Ric Flair, trying to find another one. Jerry Briscoe, Ole Anderson, Rip Hawk.
Wow. You're getting back in the 60s now with Rip Hawk.
The Missouri Mauler, Danny Miller.
Whoa. And
Pat O'Connor debuted the title August 8th, 1970.
Okay. 70s then. All right.
August 8th, 1970, and still here in January of 86. So 16 years and really a who's who. When you got Jack Briscoe and Pat O'Connor and Ric Flair all holding the same title.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. How about Ken Patera being in there? And you said the Masked Outlaw, that was Dory Funk Jr. under a mask, and managed by Gary Hart. And,
would you want to wrestle in a mask?
No, wouldn't he want to announce under a mask? I don't know how Excalibur does it.
I think he regrets it every week of his life.
I think there's part of it that he regrets about it, because I mean, I see him after the shows and he's like sweating profusely and
yeah.
So yeah, wearing, as we say, a hood. You know what though? I always wanted to do, never done it. I always wanted to get the family together for a Christmas picture and each of us wear like a different Lucha Libre mask. And on the front cover, it was all wearing a mask. And then you open up the card, same picture without the mask. And underneath of it, it would say, Merry Christmas from Parts Unknown. I always thought that had been a cool Christmas card. But never did it. Never had enough masks to do it. I guess I could have got Mike Tenay to do it, because Tenay like owns hundreds of masks. He's got a collection of them. Like I collect Batman figures.
Yeah.
He collects masks. At least he did at one time. I don't know.
Ron Garvin here has the front face lock on Bobby Eaton. Dennis Condrey not going to stand for that. He's coming in.
Yeah. Get out of the camera shot, Bubba. Which reminds me, Mike Tenay has been missing in action for quite a while.
He's not missing in action. Jeff Jarrett still talks to him.
Really?
I think so.
Well, good. Jeff should probably get him on his podcast.
We don't do guests.
You don't?
Nope.
Well, we don't either, but we had guests at one time. Starrcade Memories.
Oh, so that's true.
You never know. You could do that. So how's things going with the other podcast? Really well?
Yeah. So far, so good, man. I'm sure you heard we're, going to be helping DDP and Jake Roberts navigate. Man, what a story those guys have together, right?
Right. Absolutely. I think they had David Crockett on with them too.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
He just happened to be there filming something, and
he
texted me and said, "Can I do a run in?" But I didn't see it until we were finished recording. So, when I did see it, I said, "Please do." And they were thrilled to have wrestling royalty just randomly pull up to the show.
Yeah. How's your father-in-law's podcast coming? Okay.
I hear that it's selling well. I haven't had a chance to listen to much of it. I've seen a lot of the clips on social, but I know that, Mark Madden has been a pretty big time radio broadcaster for a long time.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Mark knows what he's doing. Mark, I always thought Mark got a bad rap because he always was a good heel on his radio show and on us. But Mark is true blue, good friend of ours. And that's a good pickup. Have a lot of time for Mark Madden. And he comes from Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, so, you know, something we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
Is this weekend.
Okay.
This weekend, we're going to see Alabama and Georgia in college football playoffs.
Yeah. Right.
Do you want to go ahead and make a selection?
No, I don't.
You don't want to guess?
Nope. Don't want to guess. Well, okay. Alabama's going to beat Cincinnati. No question in there.
But
is Georgia going to beat Michigan?
I'm asking.
I think they can. Am I one of those arrogant fans that going, oh yeah, we're going to beat them? I'm not like that.
What do your sons say? Do they say, oh yeah, we're going to beat
my
them?
sons say, oh yeah, we're going to beat them. As a matter of fact, I have a feeling by the time this drops on Wednesday, my son Chris is already in Miami.
How fired up is he?
He's really fired up. He's never been to the Orange Bowl.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah. And so and he's going to find out. He's never been there. I really think that Miami is one of the great cities in the world, and just love Miami. Always loved it. Even though the Orange Bowl itself is not in Miami, it's more in Fort Lauderdale and Lauderhill up there. But so they're pretty excited about it, and he's very confident, you know, that they're going to beat Michigan. We'll see. I mean, I think on the surface, we all feel, you and I have always felt, that the best SEC team is always better than the best Big Ten team. We've often felt that way. And that's not only our prejudice from living in this part of the country, that's because it's a fact. There's been a lot of Final Fours with two SEC teams in it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them. The SEC is the best conference, so there. So it could be Georgia and Alabama again. I do know that when Matt left to go back home for Christmas, after Christmas, and was leaving my son Chris's house, Chris said to him, "I'll see you in Indianapolis." That's what he said, meaning that's where the championship game's going to be played, and I'm confident I'm going to be there. Matt, I know you'll come too. And Matt went on to tell me that he's not going to be in Indianapolis if they make it that far. But we will see.
Can we talk about something that you do want to talk about as we're talking over a pretty good match here with Ron Garvin and Bobby Eaton in the center of the ring right now?
Sure.
One of the biggest movie openings of all time, Spider-Man. Yep. Have you seen it yet? What'd you think?
Yes, I have. I liked it. I thought it was very good. I thought it was very overrated.
Wait, so you liked it, but you thought it was overrated?
Yes. I had heard it was the greatest superhero movie of all time.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not even close.
No. But it's very, very good. Very well done. And like anything in the Marvel universe now, you have to, there's a good shot of Ronnie's ass. You have to really, really just forget about things because it's really deep. And you just got to let your mind go. I had been watching something else, superhero wise, has been on Hawkeye. The first, or maybe the only season, been on Disney Plus, one of their Marvel Universe series now, and I didn't like that really that much at all. Even though near the end there was some interesting things going on, so we'll see. And we got coming up this week, I guess, Boba Fett on Disney Plus.
You excited about that?
Yes, I am. Now, the Star Wars thing, which I know you won't watch.
No.
Look at this. Pulled him up in front of Big Bubba and Cornette, got the referee's attention so Big Bubba could hammer him. I like it, man. Old school stuff. I think they had to tell Bubba to hit him there. Because they made sure that Scrappy's back was turned, and Cornette said, okay, his back is turned, and Bubba like hesitated and then whacked him. Ronnie doing some pretty good selling here too.
This is a great match.
Yeah. Yeah, man. The key is always being able to sell. And I know we always think Ricky Morton being the greatest seller ever, and we're right when we say that, but other guys could sell too. And Ronnie's doing a hell of a job here, man. Falling around.
What about your Matrix? There's a new Matrix movie that dropped. What do you think of that? Did you see that?
I have not seen it yet, but I think it's available. Is it on HBO Max or something like that?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. Did you see the Matrix movies prior to that?
Yes, I saw the first one.
First one was good.
I didn't see it yet. I just saw the first one.
That's all you need to see. The next two sucked. Oh, it's hard. It's difficult to really, if you've got a very successful first movie, it's hard many times, I think, to capture that afterwards. So,
what about what's the other one that just came out that everybody's talking about? That's another big one. Hey, let me ask you, in the last episode of World Championship Wrestling, earlier in this very episode, you brought up your great close personal friend, Mr. Glenn Gilberti, the Disco Inferno.
Do we have to bring him up again?
Well, he's really dying on a hill here, and I want your opinion.
Yeah.
Christmas movies are like Christmas music. You can only watch and listen around Christmas time. Die Hard you can watch anytime. The plot involves assassination, not a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
What's your stance? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No.
Oh, so you and Disco, y'all agree on a lot of things.
Oh, he doesn't think it's a Christmas movie either?
No.
Then I do think it's a Christmas movie because I don't want to be on his side on anything.
Okay.
Wow.
So you flip-flop. So now Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Is Batman Returns a Christmas movie?
Batman Returns. No.
Are Home Alone and Home Alone 2 Christmas movies?
Yes.
Did you ever put mistletoe on your belt?
No. It's just, oh boy.
Did you ever wrap Christmas lights around your gimmick?
No, I never did.
Did you ever put a red-nosed reindeer tip?
No,
never
did.
Okay.
On the gimmick. I could not wrap Christmas lights around my gimmick because my gimmick is way too small to wrap anything around it.
Well, clearly with all them kids, I know you didn't wrap much around it.
But
I bet in your lifetime you've bought less than a dozen condominiums. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
I mean, you really think about that.
Well, I would. Here's another one. I would bet in my lifetime I've had sex not more than 12 times.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
It's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, Flair used to tell me that he used to make sure that his room was not next to you and Lois because he got tired of hearing, all the primal passion from that room.
Wrong. Really? That 70-plus-year-old
Flair says you could keep time with it. He says you could keep time with
it. He is out of his mind, But you know that. He's in your family.
There's a Chris. There's a Tim. There's a Lori. There's a John Michael. I'm listening.
I was in Jacksonville the same day that he introed the team in the game against the Texans. Didn't see him, but he was there.
Yeah, he was in the box with Shad, hoping to talk to Tony.
Tony's like
Batman. He just appears.
Well, he stays with the general manager during the game.
I was just trying to put him over. I mean, not like Dirk Manning. He didn't wear like a goofy cape or talk in a weird Count Chocula voice.
Yeah, right. How about that? Of all the people that Mike Dawkins could have hooked me up with to do a comic book.
He sent you to Half-Ass Vampire.
He sent me to a horror movie vampire type nutcase. But it's okay. He's a good writer. He's a good comic book writer. And I think it takes some, well, I know it does, take some talent to write a comic book. You think, oh, nah, that's nothing to it because you're not putting all the words to paper like you do in a real book. But yeah, you got to decide what to leave in, what to leave out in a story to make the story make sense. And I think that's very well done. Speaking of very well done, Ronnie Garvin is still selling his ass off here.
Big time, dude.
Yeah, man. And Bobby knows how to do a working punch. God almighty. Top 5 workers of all time, Bobby Eaton.
I mean, I think you could argue that he's on that list. I mean, for me, Bret Hart's on that list. Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Arn and Tully. I'll tell you what, though, there is like, when you think less about were they a big star and more about pretend you don't know who they are and you're just watching what they do.
Yeah.
I think Arn, Tully, Barry, Bobby.
Yeah. Right.
And maybe Ricky Morton.
Yeah. See, a lot of the guys from this era. And that's why this era it stands up so much because look at Cornette. Cornette's knows they're going to win it here. Wow. Wow. Good. Cornette flips out, man. Cornette was so good about getting the fans. And that is that's an art. I really think an art as a manager to get the fans either cheering or booing. Bobby Heenan was tremendous at it. Cornette was tremendous at it. If I can do a plug for AEW, I think Alex Abrahantes does a great job of getting the fans pumped up and fired up. A good cheerleader out there for him, and I think that's a very vital and important part of a manager, just to get the fans going one way or the other. Cornette was the master, buddy.
You think Dirk Manning watched My Best Friend is a Vampire, the 1987 film, too many times as a kid, and now that's why he is like he is?
Could be. You know, he's really big into zombies. Whoa, they think they've won it.
It did. The bell rang, and so we're going to have a time limit draw.
Big Bubba stomping on Barry. They've got Garvin. The racket. Right in the midsection. Again and again. Jim Cornette. Barry comes back in. Here's your champion. For you nothing but a bucket.
All right, Dave. That is not a pretty sight right there, but it happened right here, and Ronnie and Barry will retain the U.S. Tag Team titles. And here are the belts right here that they will keep. But, David, it was down close to the very end of the time limit. The Midnight Express thought they had the pin, and the bell sounded right before the pin, and then we saw what happened to Ron Garvin.
That's right. And if we can, we'd like to go back and see it again.
Well, it certainly was a tremendous match.
Really
From
was.
top to bottom, it was a great match. As Barry Windham and Ron Garvin retained the U.S. Tag Team titles.
All right, here we go. Now watch him now. Good heart suplex, catches him on the head. Dennis goes over, hooks the leg down for the pin. Just about. Look at him. There you see, it was a count of 2. The bell rang. Time expired. Now watch this. Watch what happens. Bobby catches Barry Windham in the back with a knee. Now they start to pound away. Big Bubba outside on Barry. Here comes Cornette, the typical.
And this is not just one hit. This a series repeated hits. Look at him right in the midsection.
The weasel that he is. The
Solar plexus.
Jim Cornette. They hold him. Look at him driving it into the midsection.
With the tennis racket on Ron Garvin. But the fact is, Ronnie and Barry Windham are still U.S. Tag Team champions. A great match.
Yes.
And we have more great matches right after you watch this.
Boy, y'all were trying to sell that as a major angle. I mean, in fairness, we are more than halfway through the program.
Right.
That's really been the show so far.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I mean, time limit draw, people go, nah, but I like it. And here we go. Mulkey time.
Against the Road Warriors, I don't know how much mulky time there is. Oh, shoulder blocks. That was easy.
Yeah.
Press slam. This is a little less easy.
Uh-huh.
Would you rather be in there with Hawk or Animal?
Animal.
I think I'd rather be in there with Hawk. Oh my God. Top rope power slam. That ought to get it done.
Oh,
see, that's what I
Lord.
used to do to pillows off the couch with my buddies. We were the tag team champs. We like to be the Steiners more than the Road Warriors.
Wow. Me? Would I like to be them?
No, I mean, when I was, 8 years old wrestling around with my friends.
You like the Steiners.
There's nothing you have to add to it because we summed it all up. Minneapolis tonight. The Road Warriors coming to their home, away from home, a town, just another one that we own. We're coming for destruction, and you know who against? The Midnight Express and Big Bubba. Big Bubba, just stick your nose in Minor Animal's face for 1 second and give us a chance so all the people can see what you're made out of, because they already know what we're made out of. We're made out of steel. We're made out of iron. We're made out of everything that's hard. And the biggest thing of all that we're made of is a simple statement that we don't care. We never have. We never will. Ain't that right, big man?
That's right. You know, a lot of people out there have been saying, what happened to the Road Warriors' heart? What happened to their guts? They like cars, money. They don't like being people up no more. Well, all those people, you all know what you can do with your stinking thoughts. We don't care. He don't care. And Paul don't care either. And here's our brother, Dusty Rhodes, one part of the World Six-Man Champions. You know, people out there, everybody's asking a question. Can this man right here be trusted? Well, let me tell you people something. He's earned the Warriors' trust. He's earned Dusty Rhodes' trust. And anytime, 4 horsemen, anybody, all 4 of us will take on any 4 men in this stinking world.
And if they don't like it, we don't care.
Back right after this timeout.
So heard that great word from the Road Warriors. Still a little bit in the holiday spirit around here. Tony, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie?
Yep.
It's a Wonderful Life.
The fact is, you're not U.S. Tag Team Champions.
Well, let me say one thing first of all. You know, I'm a generous kind of guy. I got everybody Christmas presents. I got the Road Warriors of Paul Ellering something. I got them the biography of Brian Bosworth so they can read it when they're laid up in the hospital as a result of the scaffolds going up all across the country pretty soon. And tonight in Minneapolis, that Met Center, brother, Road Warriors Midnight Express showdown time, and we're going to take you out. And did you just see that? Did you see your chicken chump champions right up there? Ronnie Garvin and Barry Windham. I want to take another look at what happened. I want to take another look at that beautiful sight that I saw. You see there, Barry Windham, flat of his back on the floor. My man Big Bubba tripped trying to help him up. And now, Ronnie Garvin, look at that. Look at that flab moving around. Let me tell you something, Garvin. This is only an example. This is only a warning, because I'll guarantee you one thing. You 2 jerks do not deserve to wear any kind of championship belts, much less ones that the Midnight Express want. Look at that flab moving, brother. And I'm going to tell you this, Garvin and Windham. You listen good. We're going to have those belts around our waist, because that's our first step to getting the world title back. And Ronnie Garvin, I don't like you now, and I ain't never liked you before. I think you're a geek, and that was a warning, because the next time we get a hold of you, we're going to take you out of the picture. I don't care. Somehow, some way, whatever we got to do, Garvin, you ain't going to be walking around. You ain't going to be talking no talk. You ain't going to be thinking a lot. All you're going to be is stretched out someplace flat as a board, and you're going to be out of professional wrestling. And Windham, you're new around here, so I'm going to give you a little warning. When Jim Cornette says something's going to happen, it happens. Brother, if I tell you the sun ain't going to come up tomorrow, you better go out and buy you a flashlight. And when the Midnight Express gets on your tail, brother, you got bad times ahead. So what you better do, Windham, is you better get away from that Garvin. You better throw those belts on down to us, and you better get out before it's too late. Because if you keep hanging around with that little short, bleached, blonde-headed punk, then Windham, you're going to get the same thing that he's going to get, and that's taken completely out of professional wrestling, one way or another. And I'm not too picky about how I do it.
All right, let's go back to the ring.
Boy, he shot out of a cannon still.
Boy, Bobby was really fucking with me during that one.
Yes, he was.
And Dennis Condrey kept picking up our formats and putting them down on the desk again. I loved working the mic for the Midnight Express for a number of reasons, because I love Bobby and Dennis so much, and Bubba, and Cornette was just tremendous. I love when he said, Big Bubba tripped, as you can see, trying to help out Barry Windham. That was so well said.
Yeah, it was.
It's such a heelish thing to say.
So Rick Rude and the Raging Bull are out here with their cool looking two-tone tag team championships, and Rude's going to slip off that pretty cool robe and got I think that's purple trunks. Are they trying to be color coordinated here together?
They are. And the Raging Bull coming out with the chaps. Looking heelish. Boy, they are all purple. Look at that.
I like purple. Purple's a good color for a tag team. Or I just loved it when Harley wore it. Harley pulled off purple. To me, purple is Harley's color. Like, Taz claims orange. I think Harley could claim purple.
Just a react to that. Taz can have orange if he wants it.
Well, he didn't ask your goddamn permission. He took
he did. No, he didn't ask my permission. But just a thought here that, to me, color-wise, orange is the worst color in the world.
Okay.
The worst.
Pretty hot take there.
Yep, because it represents the Florida Gators and the Auburn Tigers. Clemson wears it. I don't have much problem with Clemson. But there's a lot of orange in college football that I don't get it. Red, yeah. Crimson, form of red, yes. Navy blue, I love. Gold, I love. Black. Green, there's not enough green.
Tony, how many wrestlers' buttholes have you seen over the years?
You mean watching them from afar or seeing them naked?
Well, I meant buttholes.
Okay, so I've seen none.
Really?
Yeah.
You want us to believe that?
I've seen naked men's ass, but I've not seen buttholes. Rebel hit me with a funny line last week.
Okay.
She says, this is how she is. Her humor just slays me. She says, butt cheeks, is that a hyphenated word or do I spread them out? Then she looked at me and laughed.
And then you went, swing.
Pretty much so. I went, spread them out. Spread them out.
Oh, God. Listen to you. You're not supposed to talk like that on the show. Your kids listen.
And they shouldn't.
No, we've told them that for quite a while.
All you fans out there, what happened when, don't let your children listen as well. That's why when we post this show, we mark explicit.
This is what shows up when Nature Boy calls you.
Yeah. That you mark explicit when we post the show. Again, and that is to Dave Silva, okay, and Evan Polisher, that when you get ready to post the show, you mark explicit, okay? It's not too hard. There's a drop-down menu on the freaking page that you mark explicit before you hit freaking save, you freaking morons. Where are we here in the match? Oh, boy. Not hard to do. It's on the right, down the bottom. So how long until Rick Rude is going to stay with, how long is Rick Rude going to stay with us? It's not long.
He's out in 87.
Oh, yeah. So he's out. He didn't even stay with us a year.
Yep.
Wow. This guy trying to punch Manny not selling shit, man. Look at that. Again, you got to, I don't know. Unless you're the Road Warriors. Road Warriors are, don't you think the Road Warriors, I guess we've talked about this before. Didn't they change wrestling?
Oh, for sure.
They came in and no-sold everything, basically.
Yeah.
And then that kind of, as you know, in wrestling, just like in any other sport, once somebody starts something, it blossoms, it moves forward. In football, Mark Gastineau started celebrating after every sack.
Oh, yeah.
And now everybody does it. Even when the team's losing like 40-0, they'll celebrate a sack. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But anyway, that's so it's and again, so the Road Warriors come in, they no-sell shit, and everybody else says, okay, I'm going to no-sell as well. And there you go. So, yeah, they changed wrestling. You think for the better? You think it was a mistake? Because to me, selling was always the magic of the business.
It still was. But you think maybe they were the first guys who got pushed and influenced a lot of no-selling?
Yeah. I think so.
I mean, Hogan was kind of already doing that, wasn't he? He would Hulk up. But maybe the Road Warrior, I mean, not Road Warrior, but Ultimate Warrior wouldn't have been what he was without it.
Yeah. You're right. There are two things. And I'm not pointing fingers. There's no selling as part of your gimmick, and there's not knowing how to sell.
Sure.
You're running around crying over spilled milk. Well, you're going to be 100% tonight in Norfolk, and my two men, R&R, the world champion, are going to bring it to you, and we're going to show the people in Norfolk who the true champions are. It's these two men right here. Now, it seemed like all the big guns, like the Road Warriors, are hollering and screaming that they want these belts. They think they can beat my two champions. Well, let me tell you something, Road Warriors. You may be big, you may be strong, but when you're in the middle of the ring, laying on your back, you're no bigger than Mickey Rooney. And when you step in the ring with my two champions,
you're going to be in there with more than you can handle. That's right. You know, Tony, the Bull and I and Paul Jones, we feel real good. You see, we're sitting on top of the world, and we're looking down at everybody else. And down there we can see the Rock and Roll Express. We can see the Road Warriors. And but look over there. There's Dusty Rhodes and the Cheetah. But you know, the fact of the matter is this. It doesn't matter who we step in the ring with, because we always come out on top. And as far as the Road Warriors go, Road Warriors, you're just a couple of blowfish. You know what a blowfish is, Tony? That's a fish that's only real defense is to blow up real big and look real mean and try to scare something away. But you see, you've heard of people that are hard to scare, or you're looking at two guys that are impossible to scare. So just bring it down, whatever you got, huh, Bull?
You know, Daddy, when you talk about fight, Daddy, we spell the word with a capital F because we are totally awesome and totally fearless. So I'm going to tell you something. Rock and Roll Express Tag Team of the Year. You're looking at the only tag team. It should be Tag Team of the Year. You know, Punk Morton. And I'm going to tell you something else, Road Warriors. You may be tough, and I am going to tell you, you get in my face, and you'll find out what tough is, Daddy, because the awesome twosome, the double R's, will educate you about what it is to be bad, Daddy, because we were born bad to the bone, and we jumped out of bed. We started kicking tail, not when we painted our face, Daddy, when we became awesome. And these belts is what we call R&R's heavy metal, and it's going to stick around, Daddy, because we are the world champions. And Chiquita, we ain't no betting shoe, Daddy. When we bet somebody, they don't come back for more. You remember it, and take that to the bank.
Okay, we're coming right back right after this.
Seven daddies.
Yep.
From the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez. I like to count sometimes, let me tell you.
Yeah, we should do
there's
that.
There's a lot of those in there.
Let's do it right now. Let's do it. Let's see if we can hear it again.
Well, I'm not feeling too fine, but I look at the situation like this. Barry and I right now are at the top of the mountain, and we can see from up here, we can see the world of professional wrestling. And we don't see very many teams that can whip us, that can beat us. But you see, we can see many jerks like Jimmy Cornette and the Midnight Express. We can see a lot of them like that. 4-on-2 situation. People using rackets, people using objects. Interference from the outside. Well, we're ready to deal with it. You guys want violence, you're going to get it. You see right here, I'm going to tell you why Jimmy Cornette is afraid. It's because at Starrcade, I beat that big blob of fat Bubba Rogers all over that ring. And he knows I can take care of business. And that's why he's doing this. He's trying to put me out of the picture while Barry Windham is standing next to me. And we're going to do some fighting, boys. It's just the beginning of it.
You know, I'll tell you what, Tony. I listened
to Cornette out here, and he said he was going to make a promise. He said what he says goes. When he says something, it happens. Well, I'll tell you what, Cornette, proof is right here, big boy. The belts are still with us. Now, you can do whatever you want. You can bring your tennis racket in the ring. You can keep Big Bubba out there beside the ring with you all the time. Now, there's just proof in the showing right there that your tag team is capable of being in the ring with us. But we do not set the time limits. We have nothing to do with the rules. So believe me, anytime, any place, an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, we can go the time and we can walk the line with you, big boy, and all of your crew. So you be ready. These tag team belts are right here, and they're not leaving anytime soon.
Still the U.S. Tag Team Champions, Barry Windham and Arn Garvin. Let's go to the ring.
2 times from Barry Windham on that.
Now, Rock and Roll Express, I wonder if they're going to do a promo after. Because we're going to get some cliches if they do. You know that?
Yeah, I mean, I love wrestling cliches. I do. I always thought they were great. Ric Flair had his own cliches, but he usually didn't use, I tell you what. Oh, maybe he did. I don't know. We'll find out. Paul Jones, let me tell you something right now. And he'd slap the desk. Well, hello. Here we go, Rick and Robert. I go back to the question here, and I think maybe we brought it up last week or last couple of weeks. When Manny Fernandez and the Raging Bull win the straps, did that signal the end of the Rock and Roll Express as we know it? Obviously, they're still out here as the Rock and Roll Express, but their heyday, basically, the summer of 86, early part of 86, has gone down. And I wonder why they had a team, a relatively unknown team, why Dusty had a relatively unknown team of the Raging Bull and Rick Rude, who just arrived, win the straps on TV. That just seemed very odd to me, very out of place from what the norm would have been. The norm would have been they would have won the tag team belts in the arena somewhere, a big arena. And it would have gone like to the Andersons, who had a run with the Rock and Roll Express at that time. So them dropping the straps to kind of a put-together team on TV, to me, is very odd. And there's got to be more than one reason behind that, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's an interesting time because you've got so many good tag teams here, you know?
Right. I don't know. That was not who their angle was against. And I guess that you could make the argument it's a way to get the Raging Bull over and this team really over.
Oh, look at this.
This is senior editor Bill Apter, and the fans have spoken. In our March 87 issue, the fans have voted the Rock and Roll Express, the 1986 Tag Team of the Year. Rick Morton, Robert Gibson, pick up your plaques.
All right, thank you very much. I'd like to thank all the readers of Pro Wrestling Illustrated for writing in and vote for Robert and I. And, it was a long, hard road for us, but everybody stood behind us through thick and thin. And I'd like to thank you with everything that we got. And God bless you, and we love you.
Robert?
Yeah, like you said, but I'd like to thank everybody out there, especially all the fans that wrote in here. All the fans went for them. There wouldn't be no Rock and Roll Express. We do all this for the fans, and it's really a great honor to be chosen Tag Team of the Year.
And the one question, of course, that all the fans have, what about the tag team belts?
Well, tag team belts is back to the drawing board. We got to go. We'll be back, Bill. Rock and roll lives forever, baby. We'll be right back.
Thank you. For Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine, this is Bill Apter. And remember, we will see you at the matches.
Boy, that was maybe not the best promo.
No, I agree. It was terrible.
Ric Flair's right here with us. We'll talk to Rick in just a second for the third time in a row. Wrestler of the Year. And let's see the presentation of that award right now.
Wrestling Illustrated magazine, I'm senior editor Bill Apter. And in our March 87 issue, you fans have spoken. The Wrestler of the Year for the third consecutive year. And this is his fourth time in this position. We have this beautiful plaque on behalf of you fans for Nature Boy Ric Flair. Rick?
Bill, thank you very much. Wrestler of the Year. To be called the greatest wrestler of all time is one thing. To be made Wrestler of the Year by the greatest wrestling magazine in all our sport. To have all the fans out there that either boo me or cheer me night in and night out of my life acknowledge me as the greatest of all time, as the Wrestler of the Year, well, it's a tremendous honor. My hat's off to you for making what I call a very intelligent decision. There's only one, the World Heavyweight Champion. Diamonds are forever, and so is Ric Flair. Woo!
Okay, the World Heavyweight Champion, Rick, congratulations on the honor once again.
Oh, Lord. About a year ago, I used to walk out here day in and day out and tell Lord how hard it is to be humble. The bottom line is, Tony Schiavone, I sit back here in Ted Turner's private office, and I watch what we have come to know as the greatest wrestling program ever put together by anybody anywhere in this whole world. And I sit there and try and pick apart the things I don't like about it, and I gotta be honest with you, I can't see one flaw in this entire program. You have, number one, the best talent available in all of professional wrestling. Number two, you've got the Crockett's who invest and spend literally millions of dollars putting together the best production in our sport. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you got all the array of people that walk out here and try to tell everybody day in and day out what they are, who they are, why they are, where they're going to be, what they're doing. But the bottom line is, when a guy can walk out here and tell you because 500,000 people around this world said so, that he's the Wrestler of the Year for the third time, then you better open your eyes. If you're a 300-pound fat truck driver, sit down and shut up. If you're a lawyer or a doctor, or if you're a scientist who wishes he was making the money I'm making, you better sit down and shut up. Because I'll tell you how it goes. A lot of people around this country have said, Ric Flair, you have to wrestle 320 times a year. Well, that's right. But when you figure I make $4,000 a day, that's not a bad average, right? Would you like to be where I am? Well, I'll tell you what. You see the Road Warriors walk out here, and they are muscled up, and they are magnificent, and they are what's going on in our sport. But wow, they are trying to figure out what color to paint their face. I'm looking at 146 different suits to choose from because I know how to style and profile. And if you want to see me out here with my shirt off and in that ring, then baby, if you got the money, honey,
Rick,
I got the time.
I'd like to bring up something. We've talked about many title matches here on TV. The fans write in each and every week wanting to know when you're going to put up that World Heavyweight title right here on TV.
Well, I suppose you want me to come out here and defend this against Dusty Rhodes, Nikita Koloff.
That's the names they write in.
Not a chance. As I just said, if you got the money, honey, I got the time. You want Brett Armstrong, Windham, Garvin, one of those guys, fine. Nikita and Dusty Rhodes, not a chance. Getting back to Nikita Koloff tonight, the Nature Boy is going to shed this $850 garment. He's going to jump out of his limousine in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He's going to walk down out of the Met Center. And Nikita, tonight you go down. And Dusty Rhodes, if you got the guts to wear that Celtic green jacket in the Los Angeles, then Tully Blanchard and I are going to stuff it down your throat. San Francisco, the Marriott at the airport where the victory celebration's going to be. Oh, don't you ever wrap me up when I'm talking.
The world champion, Ric Flair. And
I don't know why, but it always tickled me when he would say, "Don't wrap me up."
I know.
Why is it funny? It just is.
It was funny back then, man. But I did the calculations. If he makes $4,000 a year, a day,
yeah,
he would end up making $1.45 million a year, which may have been a right back then.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you told us you thought this year it was like 600 in October.
Right.
So maybe double that was high, but point being, he was doing okay.
Yes, he was.
Doing just fine. As we see Tully Blanchard make short work there with the slingshot suplex. God, I love Tully. Let's count some cliches here. Here we go.
Here we go.
Into a building.
Thank you there, Tony. You know, it's a pleasure. You know, we just got Tag Team of the Year award. You know
That's right. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for the first time, 1986. That's a very big honor for brother myself. We worked long and hard to get that, Tony. I'm very happy to receive it.
That's right, Tony. Tag Team of the Year, baby. You see, voted by all the fans all across the world because they know rock and roll lives forever. But let's get down to the point of it. Let's get right down. Manny Fernandez, Rick Rude, Paul Jones, Norfolk, Virginia to go, baby. It's going to end. We don't care what it takes anymore. A lot of people are trying to cripple us, break my nose, tear my face up, tear my arm up, brother's knees. But you see, we're right here, baby, on NWA, the best wrestling in the world today. Standing here, looking you eye to eye. So you be ready, because we're coming, and we're coming to take you down hard. And Paul Jones, baby, we got a little something for you. So remember, when you speak of the best, NWA and the Rock and Roll Express. Woo!
Okay, let's go back to the...
A lot of babies there.
A lot of babies, yes. A lot of babies.
Oh, thank God this baby's back. Superstar Bill Dundee. One of my favorites. You know, I got to admit, I didn't really get it years ago. Now I'm all in on Superstar.
Yeah, hopefully they have him talk. I don't know if they will or not.
Oh, we need it, Daddy. He sneaks them daddies in and it gets all over me.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. It doesn't. Yep, we will. We are going to see him talk a little bit later. So good. So good.
So now that we got Christmas behind us.
Yeah. How about that?
Have you had a chance to try to get Lois to reconsider to come over for the New Year's Eve deal?
I have not.
You got a picture on the Super Bowl instead?
No, not a picture on anything.
Okay.
Way it works around this house is I get a no, then I just leave it. I've been around here 40 years and I've tried many angles to
you
get
just
her
leave the nose. That's your thing. You just,
I've tried many angles to get her to do things and it's not worth my effort. When it comes to trying to convince Lois to go somewhere, I very much Schiavone it.
Okay.
So there you go. And the older I get,
the less effort you put in.
The more I Schiavone it. Absolutely.
I mean, that's not that bad of a thing. I think that's kind of normal.
Yeah. Right. Maybe so. Superstar Bill Dundee, buddy.
You got any good wrestling Christmas stories you can share with us? You know, back in the day, it used to be a big wrestling night. Any fun stories happen along the way you can share with us at certain buildings or with certain performers or any of that?
No, I just remember one time we would have a matinee show in Charlotte on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And then a night show in the Omni. And I would do the ring announcing for the matinee show in Charlotte. And then they would find a ring announcer for me to do the Atlanta show because, like, let's say 3, 7, I couldn't drive to Atlanta till get there 11 o'clock. But there were some times we would just do a show in Atlanta. They pulled off of doing Charlotte. So I would call Tom Miller, say, Tom, you want to do the show in Atlanta? He'd go, oh yeah, man. Because Tom really needed the money. And I would do that on my own. And Jim Crockett got on me one time. He said, so what are you doing? You booking ring announcers now? I said, what do you mean? He said, you're supposed to be my ring announcer in Atlanta on Christmas night, and Tom Miller shows up. I said, well, Tom wanted it. He needed the money, and I wanted to stay home with my family. And then he'd just walk away. You never know with Jimmy if he was kidding, you know?
Yeah.
Or he was really mad. That's just the way he was. That's the way he was. So he got on me for that. And that's the only Christmas story I have, as boring as that is. So, but I've a lot of times just did not want to make the drive from Atlanta because you drove, and I did it sometimes. You know, you'd have to leave like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon after the kids open up their presents and everything. You have to leave at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If there was a Christmas dinner and your mother-in-law was coming down from Greensboro to fix and have a dinner with you, you'd miss that. And then you turn around and drive back afterwards and, you know, get home at, 2 o'clock in the morning or so, 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's the only thing I know. I can tell you that I went to many Thanksgiving shows as a fan in the Greensboro Coliseum. That's why us being in Greensboro recently was very, very special to me, because and there were some signs in Greensboro for my benefit. Tony Schiavone Fan Club, Greensboro Schiavone Territory. I saw those. But it was very, very special to me, Thanksgiving night in Greensboro. I always thought that Thanksgiving night, to me, was bigger than Christmas night.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Because Thanksgiving, you had your dinner and that was about it. Christmas was like an all-day celebration. Kids play with the toys. You sit around. You eat. God, do you eat? You drink. You stay at home with the family. That was always a big time. But the holidays were special, and the guys made a lot of money during the holidays, as you know. A lot of money. So it was worth for them to do double shots, during the day. And something else I wanted to say, too, was speaking of Christmas, speaking of family, Arn Anderson is an anomaly in wrestling.
How so?
Because he's had one wife.
You have two?
Yeah, but I wasn't a wrestler. I didn't travel. I traveled, but I didn't travel like these guys did.
How many wives has Mick Foley had?
I don't know.
One.
Okay, but there's not that many,
yeah,
right?
It's rare, for sure.
It's rare, yeah. He and Aaron have stayed together, and he's been a very good family man to his two sons. He really has. And I commend him for it. Applaud him for it. It just shows you what really, deep down inside, a good guy he is. And he is. That's not to say that a guy who's had many wives is a bad guy. I mean, there's so many reasons, I guess. But it's just, I don't know, it's just unusual, and I thought I should mention it. Not only that, they are, look at him come in. Gourd buster time. That's a hell of a move, buddy.
Oh, look at him talking trash to the camera, too.
Yeah.
That ought to get it done. What do you like better, the gourd buster or the spine buster?
I think the gourd buster.
Whoa. I think everybody thought you were going to say spine buster. Let's see what they're going to say.
Title, U.S.
There's no
Tag Team title.
number one contender in our minds. We're already the champions. We should be the champions. But there's always somebody that's putting their foot in the works. Somebody always hiding, like maybe Rhodes or maybe even the promoter Crockett, trying to keep us away from what belongs to us, trying to keep us away from those titles. I tell you what, somewhere like those two guys, Garvin.
Excuse me, Ole, I know what you got to say is real important. Arn, you've been waiting for that shot at Nikita for the U.S. title. I wish I could say the contract was actually signed, but we're that close to getting it.
Yeah.
You can almost count on it, brother.
All right, James, thank you very much.
You got it. All
Let's
right.
talk about something important. Hold this, Tony Schiavone. Dusty Rhodes, you told Nikita, get yourself an American girlfriend. Get your Corvette. Get you some GQ clothes, and you're cool. Well, Nikita, you ain't so cool because you're so busy chasing Ric Flair, you forgot about your bread and butter. Well, Nikita, I told you, I'm closing in on it. I'm this far from getting it, Nikita. And hey, all those big chops, all those big arms, I don't look like a pygmy myself. If you don't believe it, ask some of these women over here. This is a chest a woman like to lay on. But getting back to business, Nikita, rest assured, one thing, I don't care what the rest of the family does, the mistakes are over. I'm going to be a champion on my own because, like I said 2 years ago, Dusty Rhodes, standing on that beach. When I left the beach and came to Jim Crockett, I was going straight to the top, and I don't care how many veterans I got to step on to do it. Rest assured, Nikita Koloff, the set's going to be complete. Blanchard. Ric Flair, and finally, Double A like he should be, U.S. Heavyweight Champion. Yeah!
Okay. We're coming right back. Don't go away.
Man, how fun is it to watch Arn do old promos? But how about that line? Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. A chest and women like to lay on is what you're talking about?
Yeah. Oh, listen to this. Here we go.
Homecoming back in Amarillo, Texas with the NWA.
Boy, it sure is, Tony. You know, I've been over in Japan and then I went to Germany and all over the world, you know, and it's never finer to step back down and step foot back down in the great United States of America. But, you know, I've been gone, and Tully Blanchard's been out here ratting and raving and carrying on. Said that I went to the Far East to look for a new Holt. Well, I searched around, but Tully, I want you to be assured there's another better Holt in professional wrestling, my brain buster. And, you know, I was over there on Thanksgiving night, and we got word about how Dusty got robbed. A star carried by Tully Blanchard. Well, Tully, let me tell you something. You and the rest of the horsemen, when the original Texas Outlaws, Dusty Rhodes, Dick Murdoch, get back together, it's going to be a battle. And I know we got matches coming. We drew each other's number in Minneapolis, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Albuquerque, wherever it might be. But, Tony, like you said, on January the 3rd, the crew, Jim Crockett Promotions, and the greatest wrestling alliance in the world, NWA, is coming to Amarillo, Texas, and going to go in some of the greatest fans in the world. And it's going to be Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, the Midnight Express, Road Warriors. I mean, you are seeing in Amarillo, the Major League of Professional Wrestling. I know some other groups have been in there, and you people are bored about watching them. But I'll guarantee you, on January the 3rd, when you come out, you're going to see a hoedown and a hootenanny. And then out at J&D Quarter Horses, we're going to have an old party, and it's going to be hoedown time in the great Amarillo, Texas, Tony.
Okay, Dick Murdoch, good to see you again, Captain.
You ever have any hoedown time in your wrestling days?
No, had some other groups in there that people have been bored with.
That was a hell of a line, was it not?
That was taking a shot, man, is what that was. All right, we're going to see a pretty good match here with Mike Jackson and Brad Armstrong.
Yeah, these fellas can wrestle. Let me give you a spoiler.
Also, Angle Alert, I believe it looked like Angle Alert. As Ole is talking, they send JJ in to cut him off and talk to Arn. I don't remember the Andersons doing a split or
until they kick Ole out. They kick Ole out, but not yet.
Yeah. Okay. But that just looked like an Angle Alert to me. Just cutting him off like that. Because he was talking like tag team. JJ comes in, cuts him off, and says, Arn, I want to talk to you about the U.S. title.
Yeah.
In other words, worrying more about singles than being a team. So, I don't know. To me, that's an Angle Alert, which I loved him as a fan. I love, as a fan, looking at that going, aha, something's up here. It's one of the great things about being a fan.
Is that what you say out loud?
Aha. Oh boy.
Well, chat me up as we're talking over a pretty good match here with Brad Armstrong.
Yeah.
And Action Jackson, if you will.
Yeah.
We've got some pretty big AEW shows coming up. Looks like you guys are going to be back all over the Mid-Atlantic area, right? You got a couple of big shows coming up. I think Charlotte, there was a big event announced. Do you want to share about that?
Battle of the Belts, which is going to be on the first weekend in January. I believe that's January 8th. We're going to be in Charlotte. It's going to be title matches. We know that it's going to be Britt Baker against Riho for the women's world title. And that's going to be a live TNT show. So basically, I think the way it's working out is that Dynamite is, as we know, January 5th moving to TBS, but TNT will still get specials on a quarterly basis. I believe for a year, and that's going to be one of them. And we're in Raleigh PNC Arena. I've been to Raleigh many times, but never to the PNC Arena. I look forward to being there. We'll be in going back to Chicago in February, Cleveland, Washington, 2 dates, including a live Rampage, and New York, New Jersey, start of the TBS era. So, got all those going on. I really like the move to TBS.
Well, because really you're a big star there.
Well, no, but I just like the move to TBS. To me, wrestling on TBS works, and obviously for you kids who were kids of the '90s. Wrestling on TNT worked. But got to use the term mothership, and I hope I get a chance to use it when we debut on January 5th. because Dusty coined that phrase, the mothership.
Rattling right here. Oh, well, speaking of Dusty.
Yeah.
You know, Game Changer Wrestling is coming to Atlanta, Dusty's old stomping grounds. They're going to be at Center Stage on Saturday, March 12th.
Wow.
You think you'll ride over? Say what's up?
No. Nope.
You won't go check it out?
No, I won't. I'll tell you why. Center Stage gives me the creeps.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be cool to see Mance Warner in it?
Well, I could always text him.
Yeah, but you could. Okay. I guess what I'm saying is me and Cassie are probably going to ride over. Thought it'd be cool if we could hang out, but if you don't want to hang out, I get it. No big deal.
No, I mean, if you guys want to have dinner, I'll come down and have you buy my dinner, but then I won't go to wrestling.
Man, you'd let me buy you dinner?
Yeah, I would.
Do you want me to show everybody my Tony Schiavone impression when we go out to dinner?
Yeah.
As we're winding things up. Oh, Conrad, let me get that. Conrad. Oh, Conrad, let me get that. Alligator Arm Jones. I mean, it looks like your wrists are stapled to you.
Yeah, I think it's what they call carpal tunnel.
I think it's called wallet polo.
If you call, I don't have a wallet anymore, by the way.
Yeah, I've never seen it, so I can vouch for that.
I have everything, everything on my phone now. My phone is my wallet type thing. On the outside, then I have Apple Pay on the inside. So, yeah. So anyway, I would be glad to some restaurants. And is Cassio doing okay? Is he healed?
From its herpes?
Yes. I don't want any herpes if we're having dinner together to fly across.
Yeah, he's healed.
Okay.
Although,
well, they're always there.
Yes. It's like they're laying dormant. He's waiting for a flare up. Okay.
Right. Oh, look at this. Boom.
He got it, David.
God, it was good.
Now that was a great match.
The float over is amazing.
It didn't take long for this man to retain the world television title, Tully Blanchard.
You know, Tony Schiavone, what I like is when you come out here and you listen to all these great wrestlers in the National Wrestling Alliance and Jim Crockett Promotions, and they all want Flair, they all want Blanchard, they all want the Horseman, because that's where it's at. When you're in the middle, when you're in the apex of what's happening, and you're causing the pot to boil. Dick Murdoch travels all over the world, says he doesn't need nothing but the brain buster. Well, Murdoch, you got 20 minutes tonight in Minneapolis to try to take me down, to try to defend your buddy Dusty Rhodes. Barry Windham comes in here. Dusty Rhodes has got more people around him. The superpowers, Nikita Koloff. Dusty Rhodes has got 30 people doing his bidding. Well, that's fine, because Dusty Rhodes, you send all you want, because I was the best world's television in the past. I'm the best world's television champion, the president, or will ever be, and you can count on that, right, JJ?
That's right. I noticed Brad Armstrong. I have to give credit where credit's due. A very impressive victory today. Mike Jackson took him to the limit, and he still came out on top. And I'm sure that's keeping him real hot in the running for a shot at the world television title. Well, Brad Armstrong, when you're in Minneapolis tonight, or when you're in San Francisco and LA this coming week, or Albuquerque, it doesn't matter. You ask around the arena what's happening in professional wrestling, and the word that you're going to keep hearing time and time again is the Four Horsemen. Ric Flair, the world heavyweight champion, Tully Blanchard, world television champion, and in spite of challenges from you or anybody else, he's going to remain that way. And Ole and Arn Anderson, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, the Four Horsemen. Diamonds are forever, and so are the Four Horsemen, and don't forget it.
And you know, JJ, we've been talking about dominating and being the ruler of the world's television title. I dictate every rule there is, or every match, or anything about that, and don't you or anybody else forget it. And you know, JJ, that thing we've been talking about, that big surprise,
maybe we ought to. Now let's make him win.
No. But we got a surprise for you, Dusty Rhodes, Barry Windham, Brad Armstrong, Rock and Roll Express. The biggest surprise
big year,
in all the world.
Big surprise.
Okay, fans, more action right after this timeout.
Man, that was kind of fun, was it not?
Yeah, well, I think that big surprise was Dark Journey, maybe coming in. Could have been. She arrived.
We're back already. Here we go, Daddy.
Superstar Bill Dundee.
Tony Savani, Davy Crockett, did Santa Claus bring you what you wanted?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, brother, this is going to shock and amaze you, because this dude's stuffer and smoking Joe Frazier. I have just acquired the services of the Barbarian, what has put the whole wrestling world into shock. Now, I still love Gorgeous Jimmy. I still love Precious. So you could call us, I guess now, Beauty and the Beast, because there's nobody better than the Barbarian. Now, I sent the man off to Asia for about 5 weeks. He's going over there to beat them all up because he told me he don't like fish, and that's all they eat over there. And when he comes back, he's going to be lean and mean. Now, I'm going to make my first challenge, Daddy, because I've always wanted to be
Billy,
6 feet tall. I've always wanted to be 250 pounds. And Nikita Koloff, I would come and beat you up, but you say I'm too small. Well, I got me a dude that can beat you up, Jack, and we want the U.S. title, right? So, Nikita Koloff, if you're as bad as you say you are, and don't be hiding behind Dusty Rhodes, you sign the dotted line against the Barbarian, him in the ring, and me managing Jack. It don't come no better. And like I keep saying, Rhodes, I've challenged you 1,000 times. Come and shut up this pretty little face. Come on, Daddy, because in 5 weeks, the most awesome friggin' professional wrestling's going to be standing right here beside us, and there ain't nobody going to do nothing about it, Daddy. And Koloff, you're the first one. Talk to All-America, Jim.
All I can say is Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin and Precious had such a great year last year that I can't even imagine what the years to come is going to bring. Billy Dundee, all I can say is they better hold on to their hats because Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin's feeling better than ever.
Wow. Okay, so out of that, we had 1 brother, 3 daddies, and 2 jacks.
There you go.
Dundee. There you go. Count them up, man. Count them up. Hey, a couple of things. This tour that they were talking about, I went on this tour.
Really?
Yeah, this is the tour that I fell asleep. I got drunk in Minneapolis with Animal and fell asleep in his tanning bed at his house. Slept all night in the bed. This was also the tour that Barry Windham got me drunk and did something with some fast food with me, and that's in the comic book. And we also went to L.A., and I rode around with the Kansas Jayhawks in a rental car, and Tommy Young. We rode around, looked at the sights of L.A. and Hollywood, and went on to San Francisco, and it's where a fan grabbed Jim Cornette, and Cornette got ready to hit the kid with his racket, really hit him with his racket, because Cornette was like that, you know, when he got fucked around the ringside. And I stepped in, and Cornette threatened to beat my ass. He was like a wild, possessed man. So, and Albuquerque, went to all those shows. That was, I enjoyed this, obviously being in the studios every week, but going and doing the ring announcing was wonderful. And this may have been the time when which is in the comic book too, when Road Warrior Animal, because I did the forum a couple of times, Road Warrior Animal gouged me with his spike in the face, unintentionally.
Oh, here we go. Brad's going to finish us up here.
You have your sights set on not only the world heavyweight title, but to repay some dues.
Yes, sir, Tony. I appreciate that. It was a hard-fought victory, but I tell you what, it's victories like that and tough competition all around, you know. To get to the top, you got to beat the best, brother, and it's going to take one step at a time, and in order to do that, I got to go through people like Jimmy Garvin, who's out running his mouth, and he's got a very beautiful diversion in Miss Precious, but that's beside the point. But I got to go through people like that to get to Ric Flair, you see, because that's my ultimate goal, as is every professional wrestler. They want to be the top of the heap, and to be the man, you got to beat the man, and the man right now is the world's heavyweight champion, Ric Flair. But Brad Armstrong is no slouch. Like I said, my father, the Bullet, Bob Armstrong, he'll be coming in real soon, and I know they got the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup. That's a tag team tournament coming up. I'd love nothing better than enter that tournament with my dad. But like I said, right now I got my sights set on Jimmy Garvin.
Brad, wait a second. Yeah, don't listen to you know, I should smack your face. You talk about Ric Flair being the man. You're looking at the man right now. I'm the man. And another thing, what a joke this guy is. You're talking about you got to go through me.
We have to leave. We'll see you next week.
And so just like that, 1986 was over.
Well, we did it, Conrad. We went right through 1986. How about it?
I'm looking forward to covering 1987. We're going to do most of it over on Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday, but we will be checking back in a couple of weeks into January to watch the debut of Lex Luger.
Oh,
so
boy.
Should be a fun time. Of course, we've already announced we're going to be covering Royal Rumble 2017 and just bounce all around. And it's going to be a fun year, man. I want to thank you again for a great year this year. Probably one of our more memorable years besides our first year, at least for me, because I fell in love with 1986 all over again. And we have you and Mr. Crockett and a lot of other folks to thank for that. But I'm pumped about next year, getting back to our roots, bouncing around, trying to put smiles on faces. And unfortunately, our year is coming to a close. And right now, Tony, it looks like it's about that time.
It is about that time. Ladies and gentlemen, they are going to have a very, very prestigious 80s New Year's Eve party at the Conradison, and let's check with Lois to see if she wants to. Oh, she said no, but maybe we can go to the mansion in the mountains in North Georgia and see the Super Bowl, and we'll check with her what she would. Nope, she said no. So Tony Schiavone will be doing nothing those 2 days. His life, that's the way it is. And we're desperately out of time. See you next week on What Happened When. Happy New Year. See you in 2022. We come to you each and every Wednesday on the Cumulus Radio Podcasting Network. But on Mondays, we come to you exclusively on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com.